Hey, good evening, guys. How are you doing? I was just about to say it's another Thursday, but it's not. It is actually Friday, and I have a very, very important guest in the house tonight, and he's going to educate us. He's going to enlighten some things for us. He's going to create some clarity on some stuff that we've been having issues with as fans. You know, the rules, I don't think we know the rules enough. And tonight we're here to talk about the rules. And of course, it is none other than Coach Maurice Wilson who is in the building tonight. And tonight is a special night. This is exclusive, and we're going to talk about stuff that he has never shared before. So tonight is the night for you to be here to just to celebrate Coach Wilson, to look at his legacy. And let me tell you, this man, he has a very unique resume at the high school level, at the collegiate level, and also at the pro level. So guys, stick around. I'm not even going to talk anymore. I'm just going to welcome everyone, whether you're in Africa, Asia, Europe, Antarctica, Oceanic, North America, South America, all seven continents. Welcome to HP Chat Track. And I'm your girl, HP, of course, out of Jamaica. And it is all about Jamaica track and field legacy and the people who have brought us glory. And in the building, as I said before tonight, is Coach Maurice Wilson. So remember to like, share, subscribe, show us some love, all the love, and spread the word. Okay, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back. In less than 30 seconds, we are back. Stay right there.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica. One people, one legacy.
Alrighty, and we are back. Coach Wilson, welcome. How are you, sir? How was your day?
Thank you so much. A very busy day. Started very early from 5:30. As you know, our life is filled with different activities from training to actual work itself and then your personal life. So a very tough day, I would say, but I'm happy to be here.
Wow, busy. And I want to thank you before we even start for taking the time out to be here with us tonight, just to shed some light on some of the stuff that we struggle to understand as fans. But before we even go any further, you have a very unique resume. Your legacy is very unique, from the high school level to the collegiate level to the pro level, technical director, and a whole lot more, principal of a tertiary education. I mean, you are busy. You are busy, sir. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about you as a little boy growing up in your community, going to high school and all of that. Just introduce yourself.
Well, again, similar to my resume, my life has been a very interesting one because I my mother was an educator. She was a principal and got her soul in peace. My father was in the civil service. He worked with the Water Commission. The contrast again is that my mother, I term her a revolutionary Christian soldier because she was so rebellious in a good way at heart, a strong-willed woman. And my father was a Rasta man, very humble, They call him brown Rasta man. Very humbled, love this politics and so on. And so I was caught between different personalities in terms of my growing up. Uh, I went to Servite Preparatory School at the time because my mother was a teacher. She used to move around, so I went to Servite Preparatory School where I met some of my best friends until this day.
Where's that school
Eventually,
though?
that school is in Brownstown, St.
Okay.
Anne, but I was born in Manchester. But then my mother, because she was a teacher, she taught at different places. And then from Brownstone, I got a track scholarship to Veer Technical High School. But I decided that I wanted to pass my common entrance. I did not pass on my first attempt. Now, can you imagine a teacher's son not passing common entrance on his first attempt? But what was surprising was my mother had so many students coming to the house, teaching them math and English. One of the things I rebelled against most was the English language because you had to speak standard English. But I stood out as being different. And so I wanted to be the different person. So we had a lot of problems. Over time though, my uncle introduced me to reading. So we ended up reading out all the Nancy Drews, all the Matt Bolans, all of those books. And so I had a strong literary background. I then passed my common entrance and went on to Ferncourt High School.
Woohoo!
But before I went to Ferncourt, I was extremely talented in sport. I played cricket well. I was a good footballer because I played for the community team when I was about 14 years old. Um, but I suffered an injury to my hand, a very, very bad injury. And it took me out of school for one semester.
Ooh.
And actually, when I started to attend school, I used to suffer from a lot of dizziness, a lot of blackouts, and so on. And I started to read because my left hand was almost disabled. And I started to read, like anatomy books and biology books and so on to see how I could help myself. And then I started doing press ups and so on and so on. So over time, I got enough strength in my hand, my left side. But I was still not able to perform the way I used to when I was at primary school, when I went to high school. So having tried a couple of times, I decided that I was going to take the book for it. So from just maybe I would say third form, we got involved with the big Adidas bag, the big Umbro bags where we carried chemistry books, bio books, physics books, and so on. And Carol Beckford at the time was the head boy. And then eventually I became head boy. I was on the school challenge team. But I was so heavily involved in sport that I would attend the Costa Cup finals in Montego Bay just on my own. The first one I watched was Glenmuir and I think Cornwall College. Rossi, sorry. Glenmuir and Rossi. When Keeper Donald scored that goal that gave Rossi the title. So I was always involved in sport. But I think my life, and if I was to go all the way back in 1976, my mother bought me a book with Donald Quarry when he won at 1976
At the Olympic Games.
the Olympic Games. And that generated my interest. But then when I went to college, we went to watch a 400-meter race with Daniel England. In my mind, it is the greatest 400-meter race I've ever watched, including those I've watched at the Olympics. Because
Mm-hmm.
that time they had the 8 lanes were filled with some of the best talent. Daniel England, Gary Johnson, Thomas Mason, all these guys. That year he broke the record. Short man broke the record. And that even generated my interest even more. Now, where I started having problems, my friends thought that I would have done something different. I would have, because I wanted to be a dentist, because I was heavily involved in the stuff. They could not believe that I was in the sport field. And most of them went on I went to college, some went on to sixth form or migrated. But they just couldn't understand why I decided to attend a teacher's college. But in my mind, I was seeing the opportunity to get involved in sport. Come on, coaching.
Wow.
coaching side, right? And so that was how my journey began.
That was the inspiration for you.
Yes, most definitely. That 1988, 1987 Boys and Girls Championship, 400 meter.
Daniel England, wherever you are, big up yourself. Daniel is a very good friend of mine. So
Oh,
Daniel,
that's fantastic.
yeah, Daniel, big up. As a matter of fact, when Daniel was running at Champs, I was in high school. I was one of his many groupies.
Right. So
Yeah.
so you can remember the impact that he had.
Yeah.
Man. He was as famous as any other of these famous stars.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And you spoke about a book that that was given to you that had the legacy of Donald Corey winning that outstanding gold medal for Jamaica 1976. I think he won that race from lane 1 or lane 2, if memory serves me correctly. But before we even get to you at the collegiate level and the pro level, let us talk about high school for you. You were always interested in sport, but how did you get into coaching as it relates to Homewood Technical, where you actually took over girls' champs for more than a decade?
All right. So when I left college, I went straight to Ferncourt High School. And the first year I got my first medal. So I went there, I think it was 1990. So by the champs of 91, I got my first medal with a young lady by the name of Una Blissett. She came third in the 200 meters. However, after the Easter holidays, when I went back to Ferncourt to coach her for mutual games, they had those games at the time. She was no longer there. She was at Veer. So, I was heartbroken. So the next year, I decided I was going to coach the middle and long distance. And I was very fortunate. I had a young man by the name of Michael Anderson that did extremely well in the 5,000 and the 1,500. Now, in those days, Michael Dyke and myself came to champs to try and score points in one event, either the 5,000 or the 1,500. For those persons who remember how champs went, those events were like the last night. So we are there all throughout champs, wasting time basically, burning up in the sun, going into the bleachers every day, like we are big coaches and we have athletes. But Dyke would come 6th, I would come 5th. Sometimes he would come 6th and I would come 5th.
So the both of you have been rivals for a long time.
We have been rivals from 1990. Wow. And when we started to emerge as, I would say, more seasoned coaches, and we moved up to the 400, it was the same thing. When we moved up to the sprints, it was the same thing until we started to go for girls and boys champs title.
Wow. I
could go on and on forever.
I know, and I love it. But
I don't want to take up your time. So
I know.
I'll allow you to lead.
And that's fine, and that's okay. But I am looking at 10 titles. Number one, it's not easy to win champs. And you won 9 titles straight. And then you came back and you broke up the Edwin Allen business.
So that's very interesting, because actually when I came, I was in America and I came back to Jamaica for a short time. And one of my very good friends, Carly, she's a head coach of the Homewood netball team. She told me that the present coach, Edward Hector, was going on leave if I wanted to do some work with the track team. And I said, no, I didn't want to spend any more time with the track because I was coming off the disappointment of Ferncourt, and I also did a stint at Clarendon College where 2 years before they didn't get any point at champs. And when I went there, we ended up in the top 10 with guys like Steve Slowly, Bernard Burrell, and those guys. So being in the top 10 at boys and girls champs at a country school with a no-name coach in those days was a big thing. But then there was some disappointment. I had a very good 4x1 team that I think could have done well at Penn, and we were not able to go, and I left. And so when I decided, I said to Carly that I'm just going to spend a semester. But actually, when I started, um, the spirit of the sport just hit me. And I think one of my biggest motivation, one evening I was by the track, and it's country, and I can recall some men, they were passing on the road, and they were saying, "You know, you're wasting your time, but you're coaching. Them not good. Them slow. Them can't beat nobody." And I said, "What?"
Wow.
And I said, "What?" And I designed a plan, and the plan was Vision 2000 at the time, and I carried it to the principal, and I said, "Listen, if I get these things, we can do very well at Boys and Girls Championships." And he was very supportive, the principal, Mr. Bailey, at the time. But when we started the program, we realized that for me, it was an experience because the socioeconomic condition of the youngsters was.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went there, students were running barefooted and all of that. And I just couldn't resonate with that. But one of the things that changed things, well, one of the things that happened that made a huge difference. My wife, she said to me, because she was in like nutrition and so on, she said, "You cannot train these youngsters without food." So I'm saying to her, "Where am I going to get food?" She said, "Well, you can start with something liquid." And she started to make the Lasco in gallon buckets. And I started to carry the Lasco. Sometimes you do sandwiches. And that was how we started. And then by the next year, we had a young lady by the name of Fiona, oh Lord, Tamlin, Verona Tamlin. And Verona Tamlin won the long and the 800 and the 1500 meters at Boys and Girls Champs, class one. Then went to character and won the double. And then I had a guy by the name of Milton Surgeon who did the same with the 5,000 and the 1500. So that was the launch for the program. And then when I looked at the other coaches, Casey Graham, damaging the track, and all of these guys, especially Kingston, as I said, no man, I have to find something and carve out a niche. So I started with the road races. So I started doing all the 10Ks and the 5Ks and so on. And then I started to attract a couple of athletes from within Manchester, though, because we didn't have the funds to. So by 2000, we're doing very well. And there was this gentleman, his name is Lassen Harvey, a lawyer. And 2000 champs, we scored, I think it was 180 points with no class 4. And barely, it was mainly from class 1 and class 2. And he came up to me and he said to me, Mr. Wilson, you can win the championships, but you need to branch out in other events. I said to myself, what is this man coming to me about, man? These past students, they just love come and talk. I'm telling you that within a week, I got 10 hurdles, javelin, discus,
Wow.
shot put, almost every single thing was there that I needed as implements or equipment. And that was how we started the foundation. And by 2003, we started to win. But we had a very good team. We had Chester McCarthy was the manager. We had Dave Anderson. We had so many persons, Dwight Jones, Kurt Brown, and we became a team. I converted them from being football players because Dave was a national football player. Chester McCarthy was a national volleyball player. And so we converted all of these guys and we were able to put a team together. Carlin Graham became the house mother. And so we built a team, and that was how we started our level of success over the years.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. I mean, you led Homo Technical into the 21st century, and you practically, the energy and the fashion and all
Yeah.
of that, you practically put an end to Veer Technical winning streak because before you won 2003, Veer Technical won 2000, 2001, 2002, and you just roll in with all that energy from Manchester and disrupt the whole dynamics of champs.
Most definitely. The architect of what I would say the revolution in female running in Jamaica, or track and field athletics, was Anisha McCluskey.
Yeah.
She single-handedly attracted persons to the sport.
Yep.
She transformed the sport. Well, her stylist was a young lady by the name of Shanika Parks,
And I
who
was
was
just
called,
going to ask you, who was the stylist at
she
that
was,
time?
based on my recollection, she was the person who started the styles. But Anisha wore the styles. It's like a model, right? You
Yeah.
have the designer, and so Shanika, Anisha was the one who brought it to the public, and she was Jamaica's darling, you know. And so it was a phenomenal experience because people started to watch female track and field in Jamaica. Before, when we attended the stadium, nobody was in the stadium when it was girls champs,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
and over time, people started to watch what was happening, and we just dominated the space because people loved the fashion, loved the fact that the Homewood girls were so resilient
And
and they did so well.
the energy was just phenomenal. It was just outstanding. But when you look back at your high school success, name me, I want you to give me, and you just gave me a name, and I'm sure Anisha's name will come up again. If you had to name one athlete or one championship, you just name Anisha. So name me one championship from high school that you would use to sum up your legacy at that level. Just give me a moment or a
All right,
championship.
listen. Um, I'm gonna be honest and straight up. Remember, I tell you that I did not love the English language. So if I switch to the vernacular, work with me.
Yes, sir.
So after we won 9 straight, my good friend Michael Dyke won in the 10th year. He won. But what his supporters did. Now, if you follow the storyline, you'll realize that I love challenges. You challenge me, you're challenging the right person. Yes. And so I technically in my mind I'd walked away from high school track because I was being hounded by persons like QBC Globin. Why don't you go professional? Why you coach Chris Williams, you coach all of these guys? You need to just leave the high school thing alone. So I had persons who were my good friends who were saying that just start coaching at the elite level. But then I had to die supporters. They in their jubilation, they left a coffin. they left
I
a
love
coffin at they left a coffin at the bottom of the hill. And so I got the call that look here, Willow, the Edwin Allen people leave a coffin at the bottom of the hill. I said, what? They say yes. I said, okay. And I said to them, I said, listen, I'm coming back, I'm going to do another year. And I must win because I'm going to wear that blue shirt on the day that we take the title.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, prophecy fulfilled because
I was there. I was there.
I had on a blue shirt. So we won just going into the 4x4 because it was a very close championship. They were leading by about 80 points going into the Saturday.
Yeah.
And we started to aim for 1 point. So we didn't care. We were going, if you're supposed to come fifth, you came fourth. And that was how we did it. And yeah.
That was a shocker though, coach. I
it
was
was.
at the stadium and I was in awe. How did Homewood pull this off? It was just brilliant.
But can I say something? I had an excellent team. Yeah. I had the same Chester McCarthy, Carleen, and then the team grew bigger after a while. There were so many guys, Dwight Jones, Kurt Brown, and then I brought in this young man by the name of Sean Samuels, who is now working at GC Foster College. It was his first time experience. I had Kanai Senior, that if I said to him, hey, Kanai, what's going on in the jumps? I need 10 points. He said, well, you may not be able to get 10, you're going to get 8. I said, no, I need 9. And that was how we did it. So we had a very good team. And I was very fortunate and very lucky that I was able to keep the team together and galvanize them in staying focused for the victory. because then you had dangerous guys coaching, man. Michael Dyke is one of the, oh my Lord, he's so cunning. I mean, we had so many. You had Jarrett, you had Casey Graham,
Mm-hmm.
oh my Lord, Jerry, my very good friend, my
Your
next door neighbor.
wholeness.
And I'm telling you, every single year that we thought that we could win, Jerry thought that he could win also. So we had very good coaches. It was extremely competitive. Then you had the emerging
Core
Corey Bennett.
Bennett. Yep.
Yes, because he was young at the time, but he was dangerous. And so
Mm-hmm.
it was very exciting. Very exciting. We had Elimar Smith, God rest his soul in peace. We had so many guys, Prince out of Immaculate, um, the Wilmers team. You know, it was very exciting times
It
in
is.
those days.
Track and field Jamaica is just it is a brand. That's what I call it, coach. It is a brand. The From the coaches to the athletes to the fans to the it is just a big brand. But before we go any further, let us just welcome some people here. Of course, we have Marlene Green is saying good night to HP and the great Maurice Wilson. Rymar's Track Club is saying good night. He's saying that you're his role model and
Oh Lord.
college principal.
Ah,
Sasha Lee Forbes is saying, what is that
Terrell.
now? One putter, never two. What does that mean, coach?
Well, the young lady, Farona Tamlin, after she won her double character title, she was one of those. I'm gonna give her what they call it uh, in Jamaican parlance. I'm gonna style her now. She was from the country. She's related to the Tomlins, that coach.
Okay.
She's like my big daughter, my advisor, counsel. She said, I'm not going to call you Mr. Wilson. I'm going to give you a name. As of today, your name is Podo. Podo. I said,
Yeah,
what? What does
Porter.
that mean? Podo. And they just started calling me Podo. Podo. So that's how I got the name.
Okay, because I saw Sasha Lee Forbes. Good night
Ah,
to you. Good night to you,
Sasha
Olympian
is a
Sasha Lee
Equatorial.
Forbes. Yes, she said one photo, never two.
They're
Mark
jealous because I continue to talk about that era with the Anisha McCluckin, the Sharon Morgan, the Karen Gale.
Sanita Sutherland that still have a
Oh no,
record.
I, she's the
That
most. Every day I
record,
talk about her. She
that
was
record.
phenomenal. She was
Yeah,
phenomenal.
indeed,
Phenomenal. One,
indeed.
2, 4, 800 meters. Phenomenal
Yeah.
athlete she was. Yes.
Indeed. Sasha Lee is saying that that year at Champs was war. It was.
It was. It was. You know, but I give you a joke because I want to dedicate a segment to the greatest high school coach of all times, Michael Clark, wherever he is. One of the best ever. You know,
Indeed.
both of us, we were um, we were roommates when we traveled, and so when we were vying for champs, we
Mm-hmm.
used to, hey Michael, how you doing? Willow, how you doing? So on this particular day, I was behind by 70 points, and Michael was doing okay. I think it was Calabar and JC
Mm-hmm.
touching me at the time. So every time I walk by Michael, I say, how you doing? I say, things not so good. Now, once the table started to turn,
Mm-hmm.
I stopped walking past his tent and walk around his tent because I didn't want to hear his problems because I was doing better. So even though he was giving me support, once I started to do better, I decided that, you know what? I don't want to go on a Michael tent and him say I'm not doing well and I get depressed enough. So I walked around the tent. So after everything, I think he lost champs that year. He came to me and said, you see, you Willow, you walk away from me, when things start going good for you. I said, Michael, I couldn't take on any more burden. And, but that was a high moment and a low moment because
Yeah.
at the time, my brethren, both of us used to move together. But then, because I was so focused on victory, once we started to doing well, I stopped passing this 10 and actually walked up to Edwin and 10. That's why Sasha Lee is saying war. because I
War
actually
indeed.
walked up to the tent, posed on my phone, stood up there. They were making all sorts of nice. I never played
Coach,
with the Dyke.
you were playing mind games.
A lot of mind games. With Dyke, he was too dangerous. You had to play those games, those mind games.
He is,
Very dangerous. Very
he is.
and dangerous is a good term.
Yeah, yeah. Let us fast forward now.
Yeah.
Collegiate leadership, at GC Foster, principal, coach. I mean, that's big. That's huge.
Yeah.
How do you balance athletics excellence with academics discipline? Because that's a big portfolio.
Well, for those, I can't use the word hustlers. It's not an appropriate term. But for those Jamaicans who work very hard, that many different jobs, if I was to take credit for anything, I think I would have developed a strategy how you can work at 3 different places and give the best until you can't do it anymore. So I would go to GC faster and reach here by 6 o'clock, coach until 8 o'clock, go to work until 4 o'clock, and then leave and go to home in the afternoon. And I did
Wow.
that for multiple years. Now my Saturdays would be divided similarly. I go to GC in the morning and get back to home at about 10:30. In those days, my sons were young, and I would bring them in the back of the car and just have them there with me, and that was how I was able to do it. And why I had to quit in 2013, as I started to be promoted more in the ranks at the institution, I realized I was not able to give justice to my substantive work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a man who I was a cadet in school. So I am, when it comes to certain things, work and work ethic and those things, I take it very serious. And so I realized that it was impossible. My body couldn't manage it back and forth. And so that was how I kind of transitioned from the three. Oh, I was coaching at Knox too, but I had an able support in Wayne, the
Wow.
bobsleigh. Yeah, right. So I was doing multiple things. I was doing seminars, multiple things at the time. But I was able to kind of streamline my operations and focus on just being at GC after a while.
Wow. GC Foster has produced some of Jamaica's finest coaches and athletes. How much of this would you credit GC Foster for as it relates to shaping our track and field legacy?
90%. And let me tell you why. And I can speak definitively about this because even though I am a GC Foster man, I went to Michael. And while attending Michael, I thought, and I still believe, separate and apart from GC, that's the greatest place that was ever made because of all the values that I was taught. However, a lot of what I learned at GC Foster, because I did a pre-degree year there, because I did my bachelor's there, I was amazed. The literature in my mind that prepares you for teaching and coaching is nowhere else in the world. And I think I can say that because most times when I travel, I try to align myself with an institution. So if I go to England, I check out Loughborough because I know that Loughborough, they are leaders in sport. If I go to Australia, I check out somewhere on the Gold Coast. I try to check just to see what is there. And GC Foster, in terms of an all-in-one package, is the best package you can get for your money in terms of the science of the sport, which includes the biomechanics of the sport. I remember I thought that I was a scientist, because remember I told you that I was doing well at high
Mm-hmm.
school in the sciences, and and so we used to swat out the bio book, from page to page, swat out the physics book. So when I went to college, I spent more time on the lazy bench, looking at Miss World, Miss Bennett. Was it Bennett? I think it's what was it? I can't remember. But she was
Did
Miss World. She was at Michael. So we spent more time on the lazy bench because the work was not challenging, first and second year. So when so I thought that Michael was so superior to GC Foster College. And when I went there and started to do kinesiology and physiology and anatomy, and I realized the level of the content, sports psychology, it is one of the best programs in the world, I think, in an all-in-one package. And so over time, I think the program evolved with so many great leaders. The Keith Gardners, the Ivan Kongs, the Maurice, so many persons. And the program evolved over time. And every period, we are able to prepare those who came there to be trained better. And as the technology improved, and I think we have some of the best lecturers in the world. Why do I say that? They twin theory with practical. Some of them are the best in Jamaica and possibly in the Caribbean in what they do, and they twin that with the theoretical component that makes them perfect in delivering content to students. Uh, there's much more to be done, I would say, from a technological side, but every single year we evolve in terms of program development. So we have now become the leaders in sports massage. And I am not the one saying that. It's the delivery of work. So the Edwards, who was Bolt's massage therapist, the Keckers, who work with Noah Lyles and all these people, they have transitioned all over the globe. And
Wow.
we continue to produce them in joke. As a matter of fact, we're not producing enough. So the programs have continued to evolve, and we are looking at the needs. We are looking at what Jamaica needs in terms of some of these skill sets. What we're actually doing now is what we call stackable credentials, where we will take you with whatever you have and develop you. Similar to what Hart does, but this is more on the sport practitioner side. So, yes, I think the institution has carved out a niche in Jamaica. Um, Track and field is one of those sports that we really do not have to import coaches. And I think that is very good. We don't have to spend millions. No, we should spend millions of dollars and pay the coaches,
But
but
we
we
don't have to
don't.
import.
No, we don't have to
No need.
import.
And it's funny that you say that because I did an interview with Coach Neil Harrison about maybe 2 months ago, and he said the same exact thing. He said GC Foster College is the best place, in other words, the best university for him, because that was where he went. And when he was on the show, he rolled out some scientific expressions. I was like, wow. And he
No, he's
said
one
it
of.
is all credited to GC Foster.
We have produced numerous students in different areas. Um, Neil, I was not there when he was there, but I know he's one of our top students.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Dyke, Michael Clark. We have persons who have transitioned in podcasting. I think the gentleman that does coaches desk and others, they have transitioned in many different areas
Yes.
because of their knowledge and their skill sets. They're
Mm-hmm.
multifaceted, multi-talented, and even in technology. I am why I'm so proud of the institution. Again, it's because we take ordinary Jamaicans and develop them.
Yeah.
The last time we did an audit, we had, I think it was, I don't want to be quoted wrong, maybe about 40% of our students who would have entered higher level administration, principal, vice principals.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, because a lot of persons do not know that GC Foster College has the teaching component. We produce the best physical education teachers in the Caribbean, possibly in the world, because you
That's
know
for
our
sure.
education. Right. And so, without overdoing the accolades, I can speak because I would have been experienced in terms of attending other institutions and seeing the
Mm-hmm.
quality of the GC Foster College staff and the content that is delivered.
Amazing, amazing. It is all about Jamaica. Welcome if you're just joining us, guys. I'm here getting to know another side of Coach Wilson because I didn't know that this man was so cool and down to earth. So we're getting to know a little bit more about him tonight. And of course, he's educating us on a lot of things. But before we go any further, let me just welcome I saw Zandrian Barnes. His name was called on a relay team last night. My guest last night was putting together a relay team, and Zandrian was on it. He's saying one Manchester High, indeed, indeed. O'Shane Bailey is here, another good friend of mine. He's saying Mr. Clark, big one Calabar, of course. I remember that famous race that O'Shane Bailey should have won 2009. That cost Calabar, I think, that
When he
championship.
fall started.
No, he fell. He came
Oh
out
yes,
of the
yes, yes.
blocks and he fell and he did not walk to the finish line. And Kingston College won that champs by 1.5 points in 2009. So O'Shane Bailey, big up yourself. Coach's desk is also here that you just mentioned.
When GC Foster passed to them too.
Yes, yes. Theory Thompson is also here. Welcome. Spring Tech is in the building. Rymars is here, and they're all here. Coach's desk is saying that he is still coaching, and
Oh, fantastic! Yes.
so on and so on. But coach, coming back to you, the GC Foster institution, Physical College of Physical Education, was named after a great man who they titled the father of Jamaica track and field. A matter of fact, Mr. GC Foster was the first Jamaican that acquire or attain the qualifying mark for an Olympic game for the
Amazing.
1908 Olympic Games.
Amazing.
Amazing.
I mean, when you look at the almost convergence of greatness as a human being with an institution, things that are done by the Almighty Father, they are well done.
Yes.
Because, and we continue to this day to have the relationship with his children. They
Awesome.
have
Awesome.
assisted in scholarships. They have been on scholarship committees, and whenever a book is written, we endorse that book.
Yes.
The books are in our library, and we continue to celebrate the legacy of Gerald Claude Foster.
I love that. I love that. I love that very, very much. Nia Shea Page is saying Shawnette Davidson, Peter Gay, Beckford.
Oh, yeah. No. These things create problem, because Cecily is online, and I know other persons are online, but
yes,
Peter Gay Beckford.
Oh,
if things were different and those years were no, she maybe would be one of our best ever long jumpers because she jumped 640 on a normal day. Shawnette Davidson, that epic high jump final at GC Foster College with this young lady from Ver. Somebody has to help me. Tweety Bird. That's her nickname. These youngsters went up to I think it was 181. In those days, we stood there in awe.
Amazing.
Because the bar went up, the bar went down. They broke the record, and we continued like that. So many amazing athletes. We mentioned there was a young lady by the name of Davidson. She won, I think, 3 years the triple jump, Althea Davidson. And when I started the program at Homewood, she came to me and said, "Sir, I want to sprint," but she was slow like molasses. And I said, "No, it's not going to work."
Coach, you're not nice.
Slow like molasses. I kid you not. I tried her 4x1, and even when, and I said,
she wants a sprint.
I said, Althea, you know what? I'm going to write you a triple jump program, not a long jump program, because she can't reach it the runway. 3 years and she's not on the runway. I wrote her a triple jump program, and I went through all the drills. I wrote them down. I hardly ever went over to the pit, and in less than a year, she became Class 1 champion, and I think she won for 3 years straight, and even represented us at Cariftown. So we had a high-power team of girls from about 2000 right up to about 2013, 2014.
Wow. Coach, I would say Champs and GC Foster is the core of this rich legacy that we're able to celebrate, and our athletes continue to do well. Just in one sentence, just sum up champs for me in your own word.
Well, I've been fortunate to be given the experience to witness a Olympic game, um, World Championships, Commonwealth. There's no meat in the world like champs. No meat. And the energy, the flavor, the colors, it is an experience that you cannot re-experience that experience. Remember, I say I play with words, so
Yes,
don't
sir.
take me
Yes.
practical.
Continue, sir. Continue. I
There,
love
there
it.
the experience is of such that once someone visits that is not used to champs, they want to come back. And
True.
they try to explain what they would have seen, and they can't explain it. There are no words to describe it. It is the product is underutilized and it's not exploited. But in saying all of this, we must give credit to Issa
Yeah.
because it speaks to the brilliance of our people. Because a lot of these persons are not necessarily sport persons, but they have the ability and the vision to do to use their administrative skills to make things happen. And so it also speaks to us as a people and where our skill sets are. It is the greatest event that I've ever experienced. And I'm referring to myself personally.
Indeed.
Boys
Indeed.
and girls champs, yes.
Indeed. Let me tell you, Coach, I have interviewed quite a few athletes from I've started this podcast, a whole lot of them. And when I ask them the question, champs are the Olympic Games, I cannot believe that my Olympians choose champs. It's
And
crazy.
it's crazy because again, if you were to go in our era and say call some names, or even before, Stapleton, Bertrand Cameron, Daniel England,
Woo!
Thomas Mason, Kerry Johnson. And you go in another era, you talk about Christopher. Lord,
Williams.
no, not Christopher Williams. Lord have mercy. Calabar man. Calabar man who
Wignall.
no man, he's on Jamaica team now.
Oh, Taylor, Cobby.
No, but you understand the
Yes.
half a century, the half a
Yes.
century kind of memory, right?
Yeah.
Bobby. And we could go on and the Anisha McLaughlin and we go up the line. Some of these great Homewood, Edwin Allen,
Yeah.
St. Jago, now Heidel. And we could
Heidel,
go
yeah.
on and on with the names.
Yes.
Epic superstars that lives in the memories and the minds of Jamaicans forever.
Indeed. And before we go any further, welcome everyone. Jermaine Hamilton, welcome. Anthony, welcome. He's saying, big up the great general. Once you're born in March, you have to be great.
One Pisces.
You have to be great. Daniel England is in the building. He's saying, greetings, gentle folks. Seabar in the building. And
so you can tell him that he was the man who attracted me to the sport.
Yes, Daniel, you missed this
I think
part.
he knows.
He knows. Well, I'm going to tell him again. Daniel, you missed the part when Coach Wilson said that it was actually you who influenced or inspired his move to get into track and field. So that's just outstanding. Nia Shea Page is saying she
I wonder if this is Page from St. Jago.
She said she remember her rivalry with Anisha.
It's Page, man, the 400 meter, because that was a serious in class 3,
Yes.
She was fantastic.
Yes.
Class 2, fantastic. And we had that big rivalry with St. Jago High School. She's one of my top athletes all the time, man. We had great camaraderie those days.
Indeed. Yeah, she's saying that it is her. Indeed. So they all roll out to support, sir. Zandra and Barnes, welcome. Good evening. But let us get back a little bit, Coach. You did great things at the high school level. Then you move into collegiate, and you then move into pro. You are just moving up the ladder. But before we even get there, coaching at the the professional level is a totally different arena. Sprint Tech, tell us a little bit about Sprint Tech. How different is coaching professionals as it relates to collegiate or high school? Who give more trouble? The adults,
Come
right?
on, I mean, coaching seniors is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
It is totally different. When you can shout after a high school athlete and you can behave as if you can bad them up, it doesn't work with the seniors unless they knew you from before.
Yep.
Because first of all, you can bench press what they bench press. You can curl what they curl. You can leg press. So you know you can challenge them. And if they decide to challenge you physically, you can't run relief them either because them faster than you. So you that's actually what's been laughing. No, so you have to create a
I'm
mix
sure your
of
athletes who are here, they're having fun with
because
this. Zandrian and
all I have is a
Sandy.
mouth. I just have mouth. I know I can't defeat them in any other area more than talking. But it's a whole different ball game. And the transition is the mindset has to be different
Yeah.
because every single time that you put the athlete on the track, the athlete is at risk. And so if you are not completely involved in terms of what is happening, you can have problems.
Mm-hmm.
I've used to maintain my sanity is that even though you want the medals, you also help with the greatness of other athletes.
Yes.
And I've always said that no Olympic champion can do it by themselves. They need 7 other athletes when they go out there for competition to get them ready. And so, what I have done personally, I have tried to make sure that the athletes that I coach participate in the meets. So, if a Shelley and Fraser Price comes to a track meet, even though she may be quicker than some of these athletes, she get the competition that she needs. She feels as if she's in a competitive environment. And then the evolution takes place.
Mm-hmm.
But if I should say this though, and it is something that I feel strongly about, one of my goals is always to make sure that when an athlete leaves the club, they are certified in another area.
Woo! I love that.
Yeah, man. And
I
and,
love
and,
that.
and, and because of that, we have not entertained. I'm not saying it cannot happen, a high school athlete in our club. You must be someone who would have passed through high school, gone to another club, go to America and decide that you want to the experience of coming back. So if you look at the persons who are there, they have all passed through college or they have gone somewhere else and then come to.
So, coach, suppose I'm in my community and I'm a part of a community police club and I realize that I can run fast. Can I just call you up and what are the requirements? How people get into your system? Because I am at a club and I can run fast, coach. I want to come to Sprint Tech. How does that work?
No, this is one of the questions that I need some help on because the truth be told, we must understand that maybe about 2% of athletes will make it at the elite level. So you must have some amount of talent, some amount of dedication, and sometimes some amount of finance because it is very, very expensive
I know.
for the athletes to get to high level competition. And a lot of times, persons criticize them and they think they have money and they
Mm-hmm.
don't understand the duress that these athletes undergo. Some of these athletes, they don't earn until 6 months' time when if they are on contract. Some are not on contract,
Yeah.
but they are extremely talented and they believe in themselves. And so they need support to keep them going. Uh, Coaching at the elite level it's very, very difficult. It takes up a lot of your time. And as I said earlier, every single time that an athlete touches the track, the possibility exists that something can happen. And so you have to be well prepared. When you think about those athletes who have been competing all season, it is now September, almost, and they must be ready for another major meet. Some have competed at the Diamond League just a day ago, and they must get competitive in the next 2.5 weeks to run at the highest level. And if they don't perform, they are beaten, they are dragged through the courts.
Yeah.
And I do understand that they are show persons. That's a term I would use because people pay to watch them to get the excitement and so on. But they're also human beings. I've always said it. And so what you say about them, how you treat them,
Yes.
especially when they're not doing as well as they would want to do, makes a huge difference. So I've always observed these kind of things, and I've always said to myself, I feel if an athlete leaves the club and they don't have a certification. So I would say presently, in terms of club departures and those who are there, we're looking at about 90% or 95%. In terms of someone, whether you're a teacher, you did the 4-year bachelor's degree, or you would have completed a sports massage course diploma or a coaching course diploma, that sort of thing. And those are the things that really keep me energized.
I like that. I love that because you see, I have tried to tell my peers that we cannot sit behind our phone or television screen or in the stands and beat the athletes where if they did not perform up to our standard or their standard, because they're navigating life just like us. Everything that is going on in life, they too have to navigate it, and we just have to be a little bit more patient. It is okay to have a comment, but
Right,
comment in such a way that you encourage instead of discourage. So
right.
you know
And the criticisms cannot be personal.
yeah, it cannot be, it cannot,
No,
no,
yeah,
no, it cannot be,
or
yeah.
shouldn't be, shouldn't be.
Right, it shouldn't be. But coach, you have contributed to a lot of our Olympians' development. We're talking about people like Anisha McCloskey. We're talking about Rashid Dwyer. We're talking about Cheyenne Salmon, Demish Gay, Ashley Williams, Bobby Gay Wilkins, Chrisan Gordon,
But you're
Janique
into the sport
Russell,
now, you know. So
Rosemary White, Sasha Lee Forbes, Zandra, so many of them, coach. I mean, what keeps you going from one level to the next? There's so many other names I didn't even call. Shaloni Calvert is another one. Yannick Thompson. So many of your legacy. Your legacy is a big deal in a coach. I
I
don't know
don't
if
know
you
about that.
know.
I tell you, my father was a Rasta man, you know. So the philosophy is a little bit different. But it was just this morning I was reflecting that when I went to Homewood, I had a brand new second-hand TX Corolla, a 1991 model. And I remember a lot of the greats now, and even before, I used to carry 2 in the front and 4 in the back to certain place for camp. So I would pack 6 Friday evening and come down on Sundays. And sometimes when I get to Mandeville on Sundays, I would meet a gentleman by the name of Charlie Fuller, who used to support the Manchester program, and would put some of them in a green van and carry them. In my mind, I'm thinking a half a day it took us to go to Trelawney or some of those places to drop them off. And I was saying to myself that when I hear people talking about money and these sort of crazy stuff, I'm trying to understand what are they talking about. Because in those days there was nothing about no money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Between 19, well, I won't go all the way to 1990, but I'm gonna say that when we actually started this revolution with the camp setting with Veronica Campbell, um, um, all these persons coming back to Usain Bolt. Nobody thought about money. We just did it. We were
Yeah.
coaches. Dyke, myself, doing Jerry Holness, we would load up the athletes, carry them to country. And we were discriminated. And
Have
I'm
you
going
ever
to say,
heard about a man named Foggy Burrows?
St. Jacob.
All
Was it
right.
St. Jacob? St. Jacob, right?
Foggy Boroughs, Kingston College. Kingston
Sorry,
College.
sorry,
Yeah,
Kingston
yeah,
College. Yes,
yeah,
yes. Yeah,
yeah.
man, the great Foggy Barrels, yes.
Yes, yes,
Charlie Fuller, Pat Anderson, they just gave to the sport. So I
yes.
came up in that era and we
Mhm.
just did things for youngsters.
Yeah.
There was no money in those days.
Because it was about Jamaica. At the end of the day, it's one
Listen,
country.
listen,
It's Jamaica.
I still have a 1999 cross country jersey, my first Jamaican trip, you know. I still have it, you know. That's all the colors. That's what it means to me, you know. And the only reason why I'm not in a Jamaica shirt tonight, somebody smart will know why. I know
I know why. I know
I know why
why.
I'm wearing this shirt.
I know. I know. I know.
Right?
I know.
But the truth be told, my experiences with the athletes is something I treasure. And I do a lot of notation. And I'm seeing I'm not sure if this is Sherwood Simpson because
No, somebody, when I was calling the names, and let me just say, guys, I know that he has conditioned a lot more athletes, but if I should call all the names, we would be here all night. So they're saying Sharon,
okay.
yeah, they're saying
Okay.
Sharon Simpson, Anastasia Leroy,
Yeah.
and many, many more.
Right. So, you know, it is you're doing it from you're involved in the sport from maybe 1986. It's a part of your life. It's
Yeah.
just I don't want to compare it to when you go to church every Sunday, but it's just a part of your life. It's easy
Yes.
to do. It's easy to be in the sun. You don't feel the sun. When you feel it, you cover. You now have to put on thing because the side of my face burn off and so on. But I mean, it's easy to do because it's what we do.
Coach, I am a big fan of, I'm a track and field fanatic, but Jamaica is known for its sprinting dominance. But 1948, when we went to our first Olympic Games, I have a little soft spot for the middle and long distance running. And I would love to see that part come back, coach, because our first Olympic Games, our medals, we won 3 medals in 1948. And that was a Quinella in the 400 meters with
Yeah.
Dr. Arthur Wind and Mr. Herb McKinley.
Yeah.
And Dr. Arthur Wind went back to the 800 meter and won a silver medal. 4 years later, we repeated that, a Quinella again in the 400 and another silver from Dr. Arthur Wind. How can we get back into the middle long distance? I would love to see that come back, coach. How can we bring that back? If I push you a proposal now on that, what would you do with that proposal?
Well, first of all, I think the philosophy has changed a lot.
It has.
Everything is now about speed. So I can recall when Demish Gay ran maybe about 844s one particular year. His training program was different from now. The philosophy of speed is good. It is transitional, but there's more to 400 than just speed. And I'm not going to say you must go out there and do 10, 15 miles, whatever it is. But there has to be a delicate mix between speed endurance, aerobic strength. Now, our new generation, Madam Host, they do not walk. And so while they may think that it is not necessary to do aerobic work, they are not recognizing that when they didn't have a car, they were doing aerobic work when they were walking. I have athletes that drive from the track to the gym, and that is 50 meters. They know themselves. It is 50 meters, right?
Coach, you're calling them out.
Yes, man. And they drive from the gym to the tuck shop, which is 20 meters. Now,
Oh, wow.
that is 120 meters. So if it is that they were walking, they would have 120 meters or more mileage. So if you were to say to them, so listen, jog 120 meters, man. They say, coach, why am I need to do that mileage? But you see, they would do it normally if they were walking. So similarly, I will say to some of them, I say, if you're walking from Spanish Town to GC faster, you'd be faster.
Makes sense.
But
I see Sasha Lee laughing. I think Sasha Lee is one of them.
but yeah, the philosophy has changed a lot.
Yes, it has.
And some of us as coaches are to be blamed because we succumb. I mean, without taking any accolades, but the 400 record for champs, the three of them, class 1, 2, and 3, my team, I'm going to use my team from home, but still have those records, is because we had embraced a particular philosophy. If you were to look at the amount of sub-45 quarter milers, a lot of them would have emerged from the same philosophy. However, similarly to how we are adapting to pants being worn down at your waist and certain thing, is the same thing with the track and field philosophy. We have had to, or we don't have to, to adapt because some of the athletes are really talented. And the same way in which system of training for one does not necessarily work for the other. And so we have had to adapt. But I'm not sure if we're heading on the right way.
I don't think we are, coach, because we're losing these talents. Where these talents that is running 1 minute 50 at champs on the boys side or 1 minute 48, that kind of thing. I think we need to create a space for them to come. I mean, I've had this conversation with a number of people and everybody keeps saying, oh, the sprint is what is selling and that's what sponsors want to sponsor. But I can remember that before the rise of MVP and Racers Track Club and Sprint Tech, most of our athletes, they were going overseas. And then people like you, Mr. Stephen Francis, Glenn Mills, created space. And now sprinters don't want to leave home. So I am thinking if
the same can happen.
The same can happen for middle and long distance, but we just have to be patient because we see the talent at champs.
Well, let us look at Tyrese Taylor and Nevsky. Look what happened at Naka. I mean, the record, the man ran 144 and lost the race. And so you are correct, right? We need to start somewhere. I had a young man who, Denny Kluke, he wasn't from Jamaica, but he ran 146. Yeah. And I thought I was onto something, but he's now pursuing the 400-meter hurdles, and he ran.
And why is that, coach? Why is that? Why is that?
I cannot speak to that because he's no longer at the club. But I think it's the marketability of the event.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Because I'm one of those persons that I love the middle and long distances. I've always done well at the high school level. And every time I'm able to get someone that is disciplined enough to train, they run faster than 148 under our system of training, meaning myself and my team, Jeremy Hamilton, Sean Samuels, and so on. And so it is possible. And I think I must admit that I think the J3 is supporting carrying these people to meets because in the earlier days it wasn't like that. And so the opportunities are there. It's just to get persons with a mindset to take it on.
Yeah, I would love for us to start, if it's even to start with one athlete, because sometimes you just need to start with one and that will be the pull for others because we have the talent. I mean, look at field events. Field events is growing. It is growing.
I think it's going to be the next era of boom for us. The middle distances.
I hope so.
The middle distance, yes.
I hope so.
I think it's going to be the next growth.
I hope so. I would really, 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 really love to see that. But let me ask you, when you're recruiting athletes, what do you look for in your recruits? What kind of characteristics, apart from you must have some speed, and what are some of the characteristics that?
So let me be honest. I'm one of the worst recruiters because I don't like anybody tell me no. So I get embarrassed easily. So I'm not going to come up to you and say, would you want to come to Sprinter? But I can tell you, when I was at the high school level, there were certain particularities that I looked for. I normally look for cadence, so how quickly they turn over. there's a physical attribute that makes a huge difference for me when it comes to sprinters, and I've never been wrong. Um, I can share it with you now, but if you come to GC, one of those class sessions, I'll share it with the lecturer, and the lecturer share it with you. But
Okay.
yes, there are certain physical characteristics that I look for.
Mm-hmm.
But most importantly, I think, is attitude. So I can have a conversation with you, and I'm able to decipher your attitude. And that makes a huge difference. Because at Sprint Tech, we are big on training persons who come to the club who were not developed through the club. Basic things like saying good morning, thank you, please excuse me. Those things mean a lot. So
Wow.
there's this young man, Brendan Rodney. He's from Canada, but he trains at the club. And he shows me up most mornings if I'm in my feelings and I don't say good morning. And I will make up my face and I'll walk away and smile because I'm saying to myself, but this is our philosophy.
Yeah.
So there are some basic things that we try to do just to develop that sort of camaraderie and also for outside training.
Wow. I am looking at the comments, and these athletes, they're cracking me up. Dimitri is saying Dwyer drives from lane 1 to lane to lane 8.
and that is
You
a
cannot
fact.
be doing this to Rashid. It's not by
No,
Rashid Dwyer
no.
he's
And
talking.
and I'm gonna tell a private story about Rashid. I was told, because Rashid is said to be the laziest fast athlete we ever know. I was told that
Big
Rashid
up to Camper
had,
Down.
had some laundry was done for him, and it was on the line. And when Rashid walked down the line, instead of taking off all the clothes, he would take up a shirt and go back to his room. And when he needed a pants, he'd go back there and take up a pants and go back to his room. He'd take up a marina and go back to his room. Because he would not spend the time to just take up all the clothes. That's how lazy Rashid was.
Wow. With
And but
that speed.
someone said it was conserving his energy for the big sprints.
I love this. Our athletes, I mean, seeing them run on the track is one thing, but hearing these stories about them is, it is refreshing. This is the kind of things that I like. But I want to take you back to champs a little bit before we get into second section. One of my most memorable moment at champs for Homewood Technical was that year in the 4x4 for when Bobby Gay Wilkins got the baton. I think it was about maybe 40 meters out.
Yes.
I'm sure you remember that race.
Yes. And kudos to Bobby Gay, but it started with Sharon Morgan.
Yes.
When she did the same. I don't want to make any mistake. Maybe Cashin can help me. But I know she walked down a St. Jago athlete 25 meters.
Yes, man.
And ran all the way through the finish line around to the 1500 meter start to salute the Homewood crowd. So it started from then. I think it could have been 2001, 2002.
Okay.
And then we had Karen Gill, who did something similar. Then you mentioned Bobby Gay, but Sanita Sutherland.
Sanita Sutherland.
And of course, Chris and Gordon.
Oh, yes. Oh,
It was a thing with us with the 4x4s.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. But I distinctly remember that from Bobby Gay, because when that started, we actually started a chant in the grandstand, because when she got the baton, I hear some people say, "Watch Bobby Gay now."
Yes.
And that was it all the way until she overtake that athlete. Everybody was like, "Watch Bobby Gay, watch Bobby Gay." And she delivered. So I just wanted to share.
Yes.
That was one of my most memorable moments with Homo Technical. But let us get into the next section now. Technical leader, another hat that you wear. I mean, you wear so many hats. You're so busy for Jamaica track and field. And I think that one of the hot topics among fans is team selection. So teams are selected and all of that. So I want you to help me to provide clarity for the fans. And we have a championship coming up now and thingy. So help me to provide some clarity. As the team leader, the technical director. How different is that from you being head coach? Is it the same job? Is it the same title? Is there a
All right.
difference?
So the technical director role is more administrative role. But because I was head coach for many years, and my mentor again is Donald Quarry, because I was head coach for many years, and I would have been associated with Jamaica when we were depending on two females to give us medals, possibly a 4x1 and the
Yeah.
4x4. And every so often, Danny McFarlane to give us medals. So I'm coming from that era until we saw the evolution with the success. So myself and Michael Clark used to be responsible for the 4x1 teams. And after that era, we had a downward slide for a short period of time. And then I said to my president at the time, so let us go to Commonwealth in 2018 and shock up the world again. And we did that. And we came back good in 2019. So I have been around, and my experience as head coach transitioned me into the technical director role. But the technical director role is more of administration, even though you still keep the coaches together, deal with the complaints of the athletes. So you're supposed to be on top of every single thing. So if there's a disqualification, you're supposed to be on top of it. Um, we were at Royal Indoors, and one of our athletes was fifth, and he came to me and he said, "Coach, I want to file an appeal." And I didn't wait because I take those things seriously. And when I filed the appeal, the athlete moved to fourth. Now, the person who was the bronze medalist got displaced. And I felt bad. However, I was doing my work.
Indeed.
I was doing the work of the nation. And so the technical director role is an expansive role. So before you get into that village, everything has to be planned to a T. And you must stay on top of the entry for the athletes. Because if you don't, you cannot come back to Jamaica. I remember one year when we had the sort of rivalry in the team, and I was trying to get the four persons who were supposed to run. And there was a little bit of standoff. It was in Dago. And when I reached to drop off the relay card, the man looked at me and he said, "Jamaica, you out?" I said, "What?" He said, "You late?" I said, "No, no, no, no." But when I checked the time I was waiting, it was maybe about 25 minutes I was there trying to think. And I said to the man, I said, "Listen, we cannot be out." Because I was outside and I was waiting. And I said, "I can't go back to Jamaica." And he said, "Okay, let me call whosoever he called that." We got back in. And we broke the record.
That was the men's team, the men's
The
four
men's
by
team,
one.
we broke the record.
Yes,
And I
we
said,
do.
that year Nesta gave his medal. I was breathless, because it was a little uphill to get to the stadium. And so as technical lead, you cannot drop the baton.
Yeah.
So when DQ was there and I saw him getting in all sorts of squabbles, I said, "Why? I'm glad I'm not in that position, because he could do nothing right, even when he was doing everything right, because everything was a complaint and you had to satisfy, all the different factions in terms of their aspirations and so. So the technical director role is very, very, it's a unique role, and it can be very difficult, very pressuring. Now,
Yeah.
the head coach, um, in the earlier days, you used to have technical director and head coach for the World Games. It's a World Championships. For Olympics, it's just head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the numbers and so on, in terms of accreditation, it has changed somewhat. But in my mind, the support system that we have as a team, in your mind, you have to know that there is a senior person there that you can rely on. So that is how we try to deal with these matters.
Wow, that is a big job, coach, because sometimes you're faced with tough decision, whether it is
Especially
team
if you coach.
selection. Yeah.
No, when you coach, so for example, I'm a coach, right? And 90% of my athletes have suffered In 2015, Rashid Dwyer was the second fastest Jamaican in the 200 meters. I don't know how he went to champs, national champs, and ran fourth. He did not run, but then he ran, I think he went to NACA and broke the record. And so I think he got a buy that year that they gave buys. But I couldn't make that decision because I was the head coach at the time. And he ran the heats of the 4x1. They wanted him to run on the 4x1, and he didn't run.
But coach, if the rule says he gets a bye, then there should be no argument.
No, I think we had one wild card that year because both would have run.
Oh, okay, yeah,
right. So no decision could have. I'm just emphasizing how well he was running.
Okay, yeah.
And we still entered the persons who defeated him at the trials. Come back in Tokyo, 2021, I think it was. He was the only sprint athlete in the finals. He ran 20.0 and 20.1. And he was not selected for the 4x1. I was the head coach. And even when I had the discussions, the coaches came up with a system why he shouldn't run and why it never happened. I've suffered the same thing with Lancet Spence numerous years. I can remember one year he was national champion and he did a time trial. He didn't run. So it puts me in a very bad position. Another year with Natasha Morrison, when I was coaching her, could have been 2016 or 2017. Everybody, she ran a splendid leg and she was replaced. I personally didn't think she was to be replaced because I left it alone.
And that's what I'm going to ask you as it relates to some of those rules. How is the team? All right, let me read a rule here. Rule number 1 says athletes who compete in the 100 and the 400 meters are automatically in the relay pool. That rule is clear. It says the top 4 is automatically in the relay pool. In the relay pool, right. Now, if you have 3 people who, 1, 2, 3 at the trials, and they got the qualifying mark, the number 4 person did not get the qualifying mark, but has been doing well on the circuit. Who do we carry as an alternate?
Look here. I see where you're going with the conversation, but let me just share something with you.
Yeah.
You see, we have to decide what is practice and what is policy.
Yes.
And we cannot, in good faith, be convenient with how we deal with these things, right?
I agree.
In 2021, 2022, 2023, Brianna Williams was 4th at national trials. But she became the alternate in Tokyo, in Oregon, and in Budapest. Sasha Lee Forbes was 4th. She became the alternate in Paris. Julian Ford, if my memory, was 4th again. He was the alternate in Tokyo. Jelani Walker Ford, Akeem Blake. Brian Levy was 4th. He became the alternate in Paris. So it has been a practice. Now, if it is that it is to be changed, it is left to the selectors to be changed. When it comes to the athletes I coach, and they can tell you, run top 3. Because I'm not fighting no battlefield. They know that. And it is amazing because you'd have to know. So you can ask any one of them because it now becomes an almost kind of tussle if you're not in the top 3. I am not prepared to fight those wars. So when it comes to relay, when it comes to individual event, you run top 3.
Right, exactly.
If you're not in the top 3, you're out.
That is clear. That is clear.
Now, the practice is that the 4th person, once they have the qualifying, is the alternate. So if you want to think about the 100, the 4th person with the Jodine Williams and Ryan Ford, those are the alternate. So my understanding of the rule and the clarification of the rule and the consistency of the rule, that is how it is done. Right? For the relays, it's top 4.
It's top 4, right?
It's
I
top
read
4.
that.
Now we this year, because of all that has happened, I did some submissions to the J3 and I said, look here, look at the top 3 and then you can decide. But it has not been gazetted in law. So you look at the top 4 and you leave it to the coaches to see who's the next best person based on handling of the baton, consistency of form, because I think some athletes will have suffered a disadvantage because of how late the meet is. Some athletes are not able to get into meets. I mean, and so we have to look at all of these factors in deciding a team. Now, we know how we are as Jamaicans. We go with our stars. But
coach, we have to go with the rules, the policies.
No. You are saying that because you are a purist. But remember, in 2008, the great Chilean Fraser Price was 3rd. Veronica was out of the runnings, but Veronica was running faster.
Wasn't Shelly on 2nd? I think Shelly on
2nd or 3rd.
Or Shelly on 1.
I think she was 3rd.
Or was it Shelly on 1, Kara on 2nd, Sharon 3rd, Veronica 4th? I know those were the top 4.
Something right. Like that. I can't remember.
And Veronica was definitely out.
Right. But she was running faster. And the J3 stuck to their rule.
And I respected that.
Because then Shelly became a legend. But not only that, you're able to, that is why you have the national trials.
And that is why you have the rules.
Now, if you're like me, and I go for, and I had a serious clash with one of my athletes the other day. I love to see the fastest people, the longest jumpers, the highest jumpers, persons who can throw the furthest. I love to see them out there competing. But the rules are the rules.
Yeah.
Now, life can be easier for the coaches if the J3s just come out, if there's a tight situation and say, guess what? These are the rules of engagement. They are there in written script, but you may not be aware, but these are the rules. So when the general public know the rules, they don't think that the rules are being manipulated, because that is going to be the first thing that comes to their mind.
Amen.
Because we are from the Anansi culture. So every man, when it comes to certain things, they're going to do a little thing here, do a little thing here.
Yeah.
That is how we think.
Yeah.
So what needs to happen is for the rules to be out there. And that is why I put it on my website and I try to share information.
And that was why I brought you here tonight, to explain all of this. So when we see certain things are happening, there is no conflict. We're not confused.
Let me just make it simple. Top 3 in individual events. We have not changed someone from the top 3 for the longest unless their coaches state that they are not ready to run.
Since Sydney.
For the relays, top 4, and you choose anybody else that you think is good for the team.
All right. And my next question is, Coach, I understand that the top 3, well, when I went on the J3 site a day ago, it says top 4 automatically in the relay pool. The remaining members are based on selection by the selection committee. But my thing is, what are the criteria now that we use to select the remaining members?
All right.
Is there any criteria to the...
All right. So let me share this with you, because sometimes I don't think we're not transparent enough.
Yes.
Because we hold back stuff and we absorb the punches. Now, after recognizing that we had only qualified for 2 or 3 relays, I came out and I said, boy, as president, get to Jamaica, we have to meet and look at this, because we have to get back to where we were. So a group of us, myself, Paul Francis, the president, Stephen Francis, a couple of us, Glenn Mills, we got involved in the conversation. We invited a number of major players. Some made it very clear that they were not interested. The relay was not on their to-do list at this point. And I can understand. I was very happy that Glenn loaned us Civil, who was running um, in London, and he was able to spend a couple of days with Jamaica's man that them beat the most, Cadrian Goldson. So the top six were invited. Two had issues with their visas, based on my understanding. I don't do the invite. It is done from the J3s, right? So whatever transpired there. So Goldson, um, Rohan, I think it was Kishin, Civil, and Akeem.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones who went to the training camp. We wanted two other athletes and qualified the team. Now, in my mind, the top four athletes, it is clear. Now, any other athlete that Jamaica thinks should be a part of the team, the athlete has to think the same way. So the athlete would have to avail themselves for selection. However, the coaches, because we have individual coaches for those teams, and these are no berber coaches. These are experienced, knowledgeable, um, proven coaches. If they say to me that Willow, this man doesn't blend well with the team, I have to work with them. Even though I'm the arbitrator. So I can say to them, what is the problem? Is it because of X? Is it because of Y? Because I've been doing this from 2008. I was a strike compromise man. Because BQ was the attack man, and I was the man, the politician. So I've been doing it. So I'm schooling it. And so what we're looking for is the blend, because we have created now a system where we are looking at the top 10 athletes from the trials, males and females. So if it is that the four top persons are not available, we can find the next 5, 6, 7, 8, and they will be available for world release. They will be available for other activities. So you keep that pool together. And that was how we were able to pull Brianna Williams and others for these other meets that involve the relay. So I think we have come to a point where the structure and the system is what it should be, so that we don't have the Canadians bragging on us. We don't have the French guys bragging on us. So we have developed a system, not developed, but we have fine-tuned a system that we think can work. And I think the coaches will be very supportive of the system. So it's just for us now to get back on track, because I think we're going to, over time, dominate fully again in a short period.
Let me ask you something, Coach. We, for the last 2 seasons, we have been chasing times in the relay. We've never been that country before. I know that the rules change, but sometimes athletes don't make themselves available to qualify the team, but when they go to championship, they are the ones who get the opportunity. And I'm not trying to knock anybody here, but you'll have some athletes who is always available, coach, always available for country, yet they are sidelined when the big dogs turn up at championship. How can we tweak that a little bit?
I'm the wrong person to ask that
How
question.
can we fix that problem?
No, I think I'm the wrong person to ask that question, because we don't deal with the truth well.
Yeah, true, true.
And I'm not afraid of speaking the truth.
Yeah.
I'm not the type of person that is afraid of anything, really. But I like to be very respectful.
Me too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, what you will find, you must recognize that when it comes to our athletes, Jamaicans, once you are a star, they will die for their star. They expect to see their star. And we as coaches, we want to provide that to the persons. But the behind the scenes, the behind the scenes, if you were ever to be behind the scenes,
I've
you could
heard.
start with Glenn as head coach, and he will tell you the stories. And so, but we we have been able to manage it because the athletes are human beings and they have feelings, they have pressures, they have commitments. And so we try to work with the athletes. The general public doesn't know what takes place behind the scenes. And so the coaches, as usual, get the beat up. And sometimes those who are really supposed to get the beat up, not getting the beat up. But that's just how it is. That is why we take on the job. But I agree with you. And that is why we are putting the pool together. Because there are certain coaches that are always committed with their
Yes,
athletes to represent Jamaica.
always.
Always. And there are some who that the commitment is not necessarily there because they have other commitments. Now, my take on it is if you decide that you have other commitments, when the time comes, if the people qualify the team and so on, allow the coaches to do their selection.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Allow them to do their selection because the coaches are educated, experienced, and knowledgeable coaches. So that is just my take. And then now, if I'm able to arbitrate, if I'm able to call an athlete, meet with the coach, and say, listen, how can we fix this? This man is the fastest man or the second fastest man. We need him on the team. When we do the math, the summary is telling us that we can win. But guess what? You may be fast, but you may not be able to handle the baton because you did not practice. So these are some of the problems that we're having.
Yeah. If an athlete on the team, but they did not compete in the 100 meters, or they competed but they fall short, whether got injured or anything like that in the 100 or the 400, is that athlete eligible for relay selection?
Yes. Once a medical exemption was given,
Mm-hmm.
they are eligible for relay selection. And the selection committee can look at the athletes' past performance during the year and current performances and decide that this athlete can add value to the team. And that is why I have always said to my athletes, if you don't run top three, you don't have a say. Right? You're an I tell them you're an alternate.
Yeah.
You don't. So all of them know. You'll never hear that the athletes that I coach quarrel about a relay because they know that if they are not in top three, they're an alternate. Even if they run fourth, they're alternate. That is what I tell them.
You just spoke about medical exemption. What exactly is the medical exemption? Who is entitled to it? What window do you have to apply for one before the trials?
If you are in the top two, I want to be I don't want to make any mistake. You know, the brain not so
Yes.
just as sharp as if you are in the top three in the world for their event, they can qualify for a medical exemption. But it must be done before you actually run the competition, and the doctor, the Jamaican doctor that is there at the meet at the national trials must meet to decide that you warrant a medical exemption. Once you have achieved that medical exemption, you are now a bona fide athlete. I use the term bona fide because you can take a position from the third person depending on your current form.
Wow, interesting. So you have up to the day of championship to get an approval for exemption.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Wow, wow. When there's no trials, how do we select a team? Like for how do I'm sorry. How do we select a team when there's no trials, like for the world relays, especially the world relay that is so early in the year, or indoor championship?
All right. So excellent question. I've always said to the selection committee, my opinion, we work with national trials from the previous year. So if athlete one was the winner, are you available? If you're not available, you move to athlete two, and so on and so forth. Now, what has created controversy is you select athlete two, but the athlete two is not doing well. It's not in your mind, it's not running. As a matter of fact, you don't see them run. But athlete five goes to Grace Jackson and runs 45.5. And you say, but wait, so how they pick this man here who don't run all year?
Mm-hmm.
But this man season will start in April. And so while you want to look in at those who may be doing maybe bringing out current performances or early performances, you have to look at your trials results, because your trial results of the previous year will guide you. Now, you ask how. We know that we have professional coaches, and we know that if you run 44.6 at the trials or 44.7 at the trials, expectation that in March you may be about 45.4 or so, but or even 45 flat. But nobody has seen you run. But we know that a professional coach, once they say that their athlete is available, their athlete will deliver a reasonable performance. So that is the only way you can select when you don't have a charge. You have to look at the charge results from the year before and current performances in the year to the time of the meet.
Sounds good. Who has a better weight ranking in terms of coming from last season, or the person who has produced that mark in the current season?
No, well, for so we said trials results
Mm-hmm.
and current form in the present season. So
Okay.
if Whirling Door is March,
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at all the performances from February, because I think they would start
Okay.
at Camperdown Classics
Okay.
um, from February to March. Current performance up to that point.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Rymar's Track Club is saying I'm learning a lot. I'm happy. I'm happy that coach is here educating us on stuff. But coach, how do you
Yes.
balance fairness and performance, when in a tough decision that is needed to be made by you as it relates to, I know you have a very tough job. I know because I've heard, but how do you manage fairness in the camp on the team?
I was talking to Bert Cameron a couple of days ago, and I said, Bert, you know, so normally when we go to meets, because I'm in the capacity as technical director and the whole of paperwork, and well, no, it's not paperwork, it's computer work. Sometimes I have to ask other coaches to assist with the athletes that I coach. So I'll ask Barnes to allow Bert to take some time and so on. Even selection committee meeting, when my athlete's name come up, I recuse myself. Sometimes one of my good colleagues would say, Willow, something is wrong with you. Or they will call an athlete that I coach and say, what about this person and that person? I recuse myself. It is, and that is why, for me, it is easy. And that is why we drill down run top three,
Yeah.
because it puts me in an awkward position. And it is something that I've thought about, and I have made that decision. I had recently at NACAC, I had a discussion with the president that I think my position makes it very unfair for the athletes I coach, because I'm not able to represent them. Because most times when decisions are being made, I have to recuse myself. So when we have a team meeting with the coaches and my athletes come up, I don't say anything. If they're in the top three, I don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
But once they are fourth or fifth or whatever, it creates an issue. And sometimes deep down in my soul, my heart, I know that the decision against them could have been different. But I don't get involved in those discussions. And you can have that discussion with any other coaches that I work with.
How does that
And
make you feel though?
as I said before, over time, after reflection, I can name countless athletes that have suffered because of my position. But not only myself alone, other coaches that are
Yeah.
in similar positions, right? And a lot of times when decisions are made, people don't know the background to some of these decisions.
True.
Because I really don't think it would be fair to come and spill the beans and make anybody feel disrespected. I don't believe in that because I don't like if persons say things about me and it is not correct. So if you see me do something and it's what you would have seen, then you can say it. But for you to judge and make certain pronoun, I can't deal with those things. So I try not to do it to other persons. But the behind the scenes are unreal. If you
I
ever
can
come behind the
imagine.
camera,
I can imagine.
yeah,
I'll have to sit down with you one day off air and
no, man, you can do it anytime.
indeed, indeed. But let us talk about wild card a little bit because the wild card conversation is going around, and I think a lot of us are confused, are not clear. The wild card discussion is trending, and to many, it's not clear. There has been a lot of discussion about Diamond League final and the knockout winners getting a wild card to Tokyo. How many wild cards can get into an event per country?
One.
One.
So,
Okay.
and we normally go with the winner, for example, of our world championships. So
Okay.
for knockout, you'd have to be the top person in your region. So you win your event and you're the top athlete in your region. So so uh Lord, my Diamond League winner, Nugent.
Nugent.
So Nugent, even though she won the Diamond League final
Can we get a fourth person in?
and technically would have been given a wild card, but Daniel, remember
Oh,
Daniel? So
yes.
Daniel Wild, yes.
Daniel
So
is the defending champion.
right. So that wild card would take precedence. And
Oh.
I think they again the J3s go by practice.
And it makes sense. It
And
makes
it
sense.
makes
That makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense that
so
the defending champion wild card would trump anything else. Diamond League wild card or knockout wild card. It makes sense.
it makes sense. So if Akeem had won, then would have then Raheem would be in.
Ooh,
So
that was my next
Ra-
question.
right. So Raheem, no, well, without a trace of a doubt. And that is why you have to be consistent with the rules.
Yes, yes.
Because
Yeah.
can you imagine if someone, even if they were running faster than Ryan, and you were to replace, you would insert that person over Ryan, then you start to affect the trials and the sacrosanct nature of the trials.
Because Raheem would have the qualifying
He would be
marks.
the alternate. He
Yeah.
would be, and he has the qualifying mark.
Okay.
Right. So it's all just one wild card, and then three other persons if they qualify have the qualifying mark.
Wow. It is because somebody called me yesterday after Christian Coleman won and said he will get in. He will get in the 100. And I said, no, because Noah Lyles would have already have the wild card as the defending champion. So Coleman is still out because he finished fourth at his trials. So he would be out because Noah is already that wild card. So it's just to understand the rules and how the wild card. We've never really had this situation before, so we never had this kind of who is eligible, who is higher up, that kind of thing. So based on that, Coleman would be out.
And but a scenario could be, so let's say Coleman was fourth
Mhm.
or no, or fifth, and somebody, one of the top three, were injured or so on, he would come in.
He would come in.
Yeah, right. So because he will be fourth, so he will be the next one moving up. And that is why I think it is important that you have that kind of structure
Yeah.
in the movement, right? Unless the person is not showing any good form. So if you are fourth and you're not showing any good form as an alternate, I think I cannot recall, because I would have named the persons who would have moved up, but I cannot recall any substantive change there. But that is the only way I think that could come up.
Wow. Wow, I tell you, I like rules, and but I like when they are explained, and I'm glad that you're here tonight to explain. But I'm going to touch a little topic a little bit. Budapest
Sorry,
20.
I'm seeing coaches this asking a very important question. How do we fix the situation when you don't recuse yourself, right? Uh,
Okay.
no, for me, the only way you can do it is not to be in the position. That's the only way you can do it. You that's the only way you can do it, because it doesn't matter what you do. People will always say there's a bias.
But coach, if you are applying the rules,
No,
then
no, I think he's referring to, for example, if you have an athlete and a call is to be made between the athlete and another athlete, and you recuse yourself as the coach of the athlete, it puts the athlete in a particular position. And I'm saying the only way you can fix it is not to be in the position that you have to make that call.
okay.
But somebody can say, oh, if he move himself, him still have influence. But I will tell you something. When you have a Paul Francis on your team, when you have a Michael Frater, no influence, because these guys are professionals. So they are going to tell you, so no, Mr. Wilson, that man already yet. Straight up. It doesn't matter who you are. They're going to tell you. Bertrand Cameron is going to say, my opinion is that this man is not ready. So we have this sort of thing. And the good thing is that it's not as if you have guys teaming up. You really, because you have guys from different camps. So you really don't have that. So they are purists. They are knowledgeable of the sport. They are lovers of the sport. I am thinking, and I'm going to make it very public. I think we're going to see some new development in the relays this year,
Woohoo!
because I have assigned the coaches who I think are capable, and I'm going to support the decision that they make.
That they make.
Yes, because that's the only way we're going to establish a structure. When Brendan Rodney leaves for Canada, he goes straight into a training camp for relays. He will do it 2 or 3 times for the year. He's their third leg runner. I'm so upset that he ran so well. They won at Naka.
Yes, they did.
I don't know where he found that run from, but
Impressive.
it was all about synergy. And that is what, if we were able to create that synergy, we would have broken all the world records. The reason why we won continuously from 2008 is because Mr. GOAT, Usain Bolt, was a team leader. And Bolt would say to me, Coach, this man is not running, even though you're coaching, he's not going to run. I said, what happened now? The man is walking up and down all day, and he's not going to take away from my foot medal. So I said, then who am I going to run both? Maybe run both legs, sir, but this man not running. And I have to go to the athlete and I say, you better come off of your foot, as you can get a little preliminary run. The synergy.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you, the experience of working with Bolt, Frater, Nesta, Ash, all of these guys was phenomenal. Asafa Poil, it doesn't matter what was happening, they sink. No issue. When we had issues were when we had new persons coming in. And once them come in, and them's a team, that's a team leader, which is Bolt. And that man laid on the law, you know what time of day it was. You don't play with his relay.
Wow.
And that was what we had over
And
the
that's
years.
what we need, coach. We need athletes to take the relay seriously, because it is a part of your legacy. It is a part of your achievements. Why do we continue to treat the relay like a stepchild,
Ah,
especially the mixed relay? The mixed
Lord,
relay.
you're going down a road. You're going down a road.
I know,
Um,
coach. I know.
you're going down a road.
I
And
know.
all right. So first of all, the relay, and I've always said it, should be the purview of the country.
Yeah.
But you just think of a relay team. It's only one time in our history we would have ran a team without a superstar, and we were lucky because we won. If we had lost, and those were the high days of Jamaica track and field, we couldn't come back home. Just
Which
joking. But
which relay is that?
I think it was 09.
Oh nine.
Could have been
But
09.
oh nine was a very good team. The women's team, the women's 4x1 team.
Yeah, it could have been 09.
Yeah, that
But
was a
we
good
did
team
but we
with
didn't have a star. With one of our stars didn't run.
right, right. Yeah,
Mm.
right.
I was the
But,
coach of that team because
but
I was
it was a very good team. We had Shelly and we had Karen, we had Simone Facey, we had Alien.
all I'm
Coach.
saying is all I'm saying is if we need to get to the point where
Yes.
we have persons who go to practice for the relays. And I
Yeah.
think some of the camps have been stressing this because when they are preparing their athletes. So for me, I think if we go into camp the first and you are going to compete the 15th, I think you could do two handoff. For some persons, it's against their philosophy. People think you can compel a professional to come out and do relay exchange. Now, what are the chances of something happening? But if you had an organized relay camp like what they had in Italy before they ran in England, a couple of those, three, four, the synergy will be easier. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe just a day before they compete, they could do some handoff. And that is why you need to have the pool of athletes. So if
Yeah.
an athlete is not interested from day one to be in the pool, it cannot be that they run one flat. And because they run one flat now, they decide that they're going into the pool. They want
Yeah.
to be a part of the pool because maybe none of the athletes will not be able to catch them. Catch them too fast.
Yeah.
Right? But if you run the one flat and you're a part of the team and the man says you're too fast, then the man will practice to make sure that he catches you. So it is all of those mix that we have to contend with. I will still have to respect the fact that those athletes who are on contract, relays don't keep them on contract. It's their individual event. And that is why they are so touchy. But then when you look at the Americans, they will break neck to be on that relay team.
Yes, sir.
They'll broke squabbles to be on that relay team. And then when you look at our great, great athletes before, those relays would have to be run. And when they run, you're looking for a world record at least.
And
The least,
and
sorry, a gold medal.
and coach, to just to back up what you said, a lot of our athletes who can boast an Olympic medal or a world championship medal, it's a relay medal. A lot of
Again,
times it
all
is a
right. So
relay
you have
medal.
touched an important point. You mentioned the mixed relays. Now, the mixed relay team, in my estimation, was the fastest team we have had. The one that ran at Naka. For whatever reason, they had some problems at the time. But based on what we saw
Yeah.
on the hand time, I think we got 3:10 something. And our fastest time is 3:11 something, right? How do you have, and when I hear media persons just talking without any facts and think this is a comedy show, it is not. You're
Mm-hmm.
talking about lives and you're talking about persons who put time and effort in the sport.
Yeah.
How do you have the conversation with a young lady who is going to run the 400 against Nasa, Paulina,
Mm-hmm.
to run the race before? It is possibly enough. But they have to make that decision. So when people say, oh, the coach have never, I'm going to make it clear, we're going to have the conversation similarly to what we had in Naka, but we cannot force them to run. But you mentioned it a while ago. Sometimes the athletes can make a decision.
Yeah.
Is it in terms of medal? I allow you to finish. I allow you to finish.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I was finished. Go ahead. Yeah.
Let me just be fair. Let me just say something that I shouldn't say, but I have to say. I said to Barnes, if you qualify on that quota and you don't run sub 45 seconds before, my subtle advice to you is to stick with the relays. I said it to him, but he doesn't have to do it. If
Yeah.
he had qualified for the 400 and he said he wanted to run, I couldn't stop him. He's not an high school athlete. But it's for that conversation to take place between management of the athlete and so on. And notwithstanding, the athlete may not be in the best of shape and go out there and make the finals.
Yeah.
So it's a conversation. They have to make that decision. But I think that there's a medal there for us, but we have to have the best legs.
Yes, exactly. Totally agree with you. But there's a question here for you from Daniel England. He's saying, Coach Wilson, is it possible to have a one-stop shop for our local athletes? Example, mentally, dentists, physical gear.
I'm trying to see the. Can you repeat for me, please?
All right, let me just drop it here for you. All right, there it is. There it is.
Oh, cool. Or I'm wondering if he's saying that if you can have, for example, a center where you have a psychologist, you can have a doctor, you can have. I wonder if that is what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
So you have a group of support personnel.
Yeah.
It could be a doctor, a nutritionist. I wonder if that is what Daniel is saying.
Yeah.
You could type in the chat to see if I'm on the right track.
Yeah, he
You
said
have a whole group of persons to support a biomechanic expert, that sort of thing. So you have a one-stop shop where the athletes can get assistance. I wonder if that is what he's saying. I think that is what he's
I'm
saying.
not sure. Daniel, if that's what you're saying, you can holler at us. Someone is asking, Shem Hall is asking, is there any plans to have a relay camp?
All right. So I want to tell Shem that the relay camp, we should have been having relay camps before. So there was a small one in Italy. Remember I mentioned that just before the London Diamond League.
Yeah.
I am hoping that those athletes who are not running the 100, right? Those who are on the relay squad, they will be able to do baton exchange in the camp. So that's okay. Where we will have may have a slight problem is with the ones who are running individual events. Now, on the female side, I would think that one camp has, I think, 4 athletes. And so I believe that they will be doing exchanges. So that would be good. But only those athletes who are not running individual events will be able to do exchanges.
Oh, okay. So how will that work though when we bring in the individual people to swap out? Because if I'm not doing individual and I'm doing exchange and I might not run in the relay, how will that work though?
All right. So so these are, well, this kind of situation is what creates problems.
Yeah.
You have to recognize. So, for example, Cajun Golson, he knows that he's an alternate. He knows that he may not run. As a matter of fact, if he wanted to run, he would have run top 3 at the trials. I would even say top 4. I'm saying top 3 at the trials.
But
So
coach, the top 3 not easy to get,
No, but what I'm saying to you now is that you have to go there with a mindset.
Yeah.
The coach may think, all right, let me give you a scenario. Most of our athletes, they are straight runners. They'll tell you they don't run the turn well. They cannot run the turn. So if you have 5 straight runners, it's only 4 people can run. So you need somebody who is either willing to run the turn or can run the turn.
Yeah.
The person who is willing to run the turn, maybe the 6th or the 5th person. So the coaches are now left with a decision to make, because the other guys are saying, look here, I can't run no turning, and I may have a diamond league. I'm just giving an example.
Yes,
I
yes.
can't. So the coaches have to make a decision. Then when you look and you see you're starting on the team, you say, how is that man on the team? Oh, it's because of so-and-so coaching my man on the team. No. But the person who makes the decision is not coming out to say, I approach him and he's saying that he has a knee injury and can't run the turn. We never have no choice. But nobody's saying that because we don't normally operate like that.
And this is one of the problem. This is one of the problem that the public has, and the public will blame whosoever they feel like blaming without getting the information. And this is why, and this, and this is why I always say that there needs to be communication. There need to be communication between the fans and the federation or something. Do a little press conference. If something changed, let us know. Because let me tell you, coach, you guys have gotten a lot of backlash for putting a certain relay team out there because, and you're clearing it up now that it is who you have.
It's who you have.
That you have to work with.
It's who you have. And I agree with you. And every time I speak, honestly, I get bashing sometimes from my association. So persons think I am, and the other day the president said, you're a J3. But I said, but Mr. President, I'm not on the executive. I am a member of the association, but I don't make executive. I'm not an executive member. I'm not one of the 12 or 30, right? So people think I am a J3 executive. I'm not. Right? So I have always my personal belief that you need to have a media liaison.
Yes, yes,
you need to have someone that is telling the public
what is happening.
No, I don't like to speak because when I speak, I cannot hold back. I have to just tell you how I feel.
I will speak for you.
So I prefer not to. And sometimes I come across as being abrasive. I am not.
Yeah.
I'm just a forceful speaker. I'm a coach.
Yeah.
You have to talk loud. I'm nice.
Yeah.
So people do them reps. Yeah. But I am not I'm not the type of person to disrespect anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't like when persons are disrespected.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm quick to apologize.
Yeah.
So the J3s, and they have done it numerous times, will have to move in the new era of having someone that can communicate with the public.
Yes.
Our track and field fans are serious.
Yes.
And they take their sport seriously.
Yeah.
And when things don't work out the way they want, and them can brag upon them friend from America, them go and find somebody to beat. And because Maurice Wilson is big, is him get the beating. And I don't
you get a lot of beating.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know that,
but
you do.
But I know the truth. I don't have a problem because I could walk away. It's a voluntary thing. But I enjoy the sport. And I said to myself, all right, we're going to beat up this year. How can we make it better next year?
Yeah.
So when you look at our prospects this year, we cannot get too caught up. We are putting our support behind the athletes, but we have to be realistic.
Yeah.
We have, for whatever reason, lost some potential medalists.
Yeah.
We are now transitioning with our younger athletes. The season has been a very long season. But my track and field fans don't care about that. They want can beat.
We want what we want. We want what we want.
We want what we, and I understand that.
Yeah.
And I like the challenge of having that.
But you know something, Coach? There's something that you can suggest that there be a media liaison person so that when certain things change, at least that person can call the media and say, okay, we would love to address the nation on this issue or that issue, because I'm going to go right into something now. And we're going to go a little bit back to 2023 when there was a situation that involved you and Taekwondo Tracy. I know that you...
Not me.
Well, the team and you've never talked about it. You've never shared your side.
No, yeah. But because the media, especially one group, just went ahead with the jargon, went ahead with the narrative, and didn't saw clarity because it was excellent soundbite. And I mean, it was totally ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And I've never spoken about it. I want to rest our soul in peace, Valerie Nita Robertson, because she is someone that believes in the youth. She has helped so many young men in Jamaica, and she was able to bring some amount of um, what I would say balance to the equation, and being able to regulate a situation without the situation getting out of hand. Because when you're attacked after 30 years without no reason, it is very disturbing, especially when it is personal. Right? And all that happened in my mind, because I'm still not there yet, was some form of miscommunication. Because the truth be told, the young man in question and Golson were the two guys who were working out at the camp. And so what happened, and again, we come back to the same thing. Some of those guys who were supposed to be on the relay team did not turn up at the camp. So they did no exchange. So the three guys, Civil was at the camp too. So they were all training, and they were doing well. If I was to tell you, in my mind, I thought that we had two options. You either run the same four in the heats and run them in the final, because they're not doing the baton change together. Or you could run a preliminary team with the two guys who were there as substitutes and whosoever else. If my memory served me right, the guys came into the camp the day actually when the competition was to begin. Not the relay competition, the general competition. And I think that was what created the problem, because the young man in question felt that he should have been selected. But we had a relay coach at the time. I'm not going to call his name.
No, that's
And
fine.
yeah, the relay coach was in charge of the team. So when the young man came to me and he expressed his views, in my mind, it was for the relay coach to make the decision. However, the beauty about it is that Golson knew he was an alternate. He knew before he left Jamaica. Because what had happened, we had six sprinters or five sprinters. I can't remember. I think there was one from MVP. But I was told that this particular young man, he's not ready because he had run at a meet. I think it was in Trinidad. And the times were not spectacular. I said to the person, we must bring him. I said, I think we need at least 7 persons at the time. Golson ran at the World University Games, ran 10:04 and 10:04 back to back. So he was added to the team. The problem was, again, the J3s, they had a press conference. 4 other persons were added to the team, but they were not included in the press conference. So when you look at the sheet, their names were not added.
Yes.
So when they came to the Jamaican public and said, see there, the man knows and the team is the man adding to the team. The only person that can do an entry is the General Secretary of the President. I can't input anybody. The entry is being done now, and I talk to them on the phone. It makes no sense. I go to the J3 because I cannot input anybody, and I wouldn't do it either because I am also a coach. But I am not allowed to do it. It's the GenSec and the president who has that autonomy. So because the young man's name was not on the thing, it appeared as if he was inserted. The young man in question that year was the 4th fastest Jamaican. That is Golson. And so it would have been the purview of the selection committee to add anybody they wanted. And so when he was added, they could have been 6 or 7 guys. But he knew before he left Jamaica that he was an alternate. So similarly this year now, I think somebody was asking who are the relay coaches. The two, and I'm going to be public, the male relay coach is Michael Frater. And for the female, it's Paul Francis. Right? We have not decided fully, but the 4x4 coaches will be between Bertrand Cameron and Mark Elliott.
Okay.
Right? Now, as I said, again, the communication
Yes.
because we're and what should have happened? And I know I'm going to get some beating from the J3A for that. What should have happened? The J3A should have come out and said, listen, these people were added to the team, but they were not on the list at the press conference. I didn't I my only thing that really upset me wasn't the attack by the young man, because I understand that sort of thing, when you feel them or so on, and you mention a point that it is unfair when these guys practice, and then you see somebody walking who didn't practice. But again, that is why we're trying to develop this pool. But if the J3s had come out, and I know they're going to beat me for this, and say, you know, we never added the people. We had a press conference. The president was away. He came back. We needed to get this out of the way. We didn't add these 4 persons. It would have made a difference, I think. But it's what it is. But I'm not prepared to go back to anything like that.
Yeah,
Never.
a media liaison person is definitely needed, coach, because something like this, you have that person put out a release or something, calling the media to say, okay, we want to, because the thing is that when we are back home, we are invested in what is happening, whether in
Right.
Japan, whether in Paris. So we want to know, all right, look at what happened to Shelley at the Olympic Games last year. To this day, we, the public, we don't get any explanation why Shelley was shut out of the warm-up area, and people speculate. I am not into speculating because I will not do a video to say whatever, because I don't have the facts. I don't do stuff like that. But we want to know what is happening with Team Jamaica when we're back home cheering you guys on, and when we look, there's no Shelley in the semi-final of, and everybody's asking what happened, and I think we need a media person, sir. And I'm saying that as a Jamaican and as a fan.
Let me tell you. I think the president, I think God Gill has enough experience and understands the sport. And I think he has in his tenure, during his tenure, because I think Dennis Gardner was a liaison at the time in Budapest. But I think he will get there, where persons are have specific responsibilities, similar
Yeah.
to a manager or equipment manager. The
Mm-hmm.
liaison needs to be there to communicate with the public in terms of what is happening. Because even the J3s, sometimes they get a lot of beating. And I
Yes,
speak
I
to the
know.
president.
I know.
Why you're not talking the president about Willow? I can't spill the beans. I can't, because there are some backstories that you don't know.
Tell us something. We don't want to know
Yeah,
everything. Just
yeah,
come out
yeah.
and say, okay, Jamaica, we have a release. Have HP wasn't on the team, but she's now on the team. So that when the fans back home see me in a race running, they'll say, okay, the J3A did say Heather will be taking the space of Maurice
Right.
Wilson or that. Tell us something and we're good. We're
So,
good.
so I'll give you another example here. So I don't know if we're saying, so as I said, the young man was the 4th fastest Jamaican that year. So I am saying no, like this year, where we have a young lady who I think she's the 2nd fastest Jamaican. What
Mm-hmm.
are we going to do? Eh? You understand what I'm saying? And so the communication needs to happen, and I
Yeah.
agree with you. And that's why when you asked me if I wanted to speak to this, I wanted to leave it alone, and just leave it alone, because it was a dark moment, very dark moment. I tell you that, right, right through and through, because you have to remember, the bashing that you are getting, you have persons associated with you that don't understand what is happening,
Yes.
and they view it in a different light, and so it is a delicate situation. So, to avoid all of this, even right now, I think there has to be some communication, because when you look at the makeup of the team and the scenarios, we can end up in similar position. Not in that way, but
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
people need to know what is happening.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just communicate with us. Tell us something, So how is preparation going now for Tokyo? We're 2 weeks away and we're excited and we want to know what's happening. How is preparation going?
Well, I went to Nakak. I haven't been on a Nakak trip for many, many years because I view Nakak similarly to how I did we thought about 2018 Commonwealth Games. Nakak was a launch. I see Nakak as a launching pad for world champs, and so a lot of the athletes were there, and they delivered. Two
Yes, they
different
did.
levels,
Impressive, impressive,
two
impressive.
different levels,
Yeah,
two different levels of performance.
yeah,
However, I think you can move into that level
yeah,
there, and especially when you have a camp. I can remember camp had an impact on Parchment and Dakers. So many guys who
yeah,
came to camp and emerged out of the camp. I'm very hopeful that we're going to see some excellent performances. I think this year I'll be very disappointed
yeah,
if we were not able to distinguish ourselves in the relays.
yeah.
So you notice my language because
Yes, I
you have to
noticed.
craft it carefully.
Yes,
Because you may
yes,
want a world record and me want a medal. Not
yeah.
that me don't have any ambition, but where
Mm-hmm.
we're coming from to where we intend to go.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And then
Yep,
I take
yep.
anything else. So we need to distinguish ourselves in the relay. And Heather, the point you mentioned about, for example, persons um, doing training and not being able to run, and then the superstars come in. It is something that is not really the athlete's fault. And I'm not going to say it's a J3's fault, but we have to find a way, Heather, to have 8 persons training throughout the year, give them a stipend. You come to relay training in December at Stadium East for 3 days. We put you up in whichever hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Then in February, you do another week, 3 days. We're not affecting the program, talk to coach. And
Yeah.
so by the time they get to the major competition, they know what is happening. You don't have to do any excessive baton exchange. They can focus on their individual event. We
Mm-hmm.
can run substitutes because they have been practicing in the team. So that
I
is the
love that.
intention to get there. Yeah.
I like that idea because when you look at it, coach, the rest of the world is stepping up. When I look at Spain, when I look at South Africa, when I look at Ireland, when I look at Poland, all these other countries, the Italy, I mean Canada, everybody is coming for the same thing. So as you said, we need to be thinking outside of the box.
We have to. We have to.
Within the box is not enough anymore. We have to go to the 800, the 400, the 400 hurdles. Just saying.
Yeah. But again, we're not in the business of throwing persons under the bus or any organization.
True, true,
But the
true.
conversation continues.
Yes, it does. It
Because
does. And we
at all
have
times we
to.
have to be respectful. At all times.
Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree with that. But let me ask you something now. We fans, we know what is out there with the competition. We've seen how competitive the sport has become. When I look at most of the events that will be happening at Worlds, they all look open. What are your thoughts on how competitive track and field has become, where it's not just Jamaica versus US anymore, but you have other continents, you have Europe stepping up, Africa stepping up. What
You
are your
know,
thoughts?
you know, I don't think I'm a bad-minded person, but I was led to some amount of bad-mindedness. I think it was in Paris when I saw a particular coach who used to come and who used to stand up and watch us do exchanges, doing the same exact thing, and they did extremely well.
Yeah,
And so me was vexed because I remember the days when they studied us. I remember the days when they used to send people from different countries, Far East, to come down to GC faster.
yeah,
Send um, students and professors to come down there, go to Hope Racers all over the world to watch Glenn and Steven and the other guys train. And they're doing some of the same things that we're doing. The only thing that they have done now that is more sophisticated in my mind, separate and apart from whatever nuances they may come and talk about technology related exchanges to other jobs. That's all. That's all that we are not doing. And so, Paul and I have been carrying vengeance in our bellies in the year from we came second. I think it was 2021. Right? We didn't get much time to do any exchange.
And 2022 so, in
2022,
Eugene.
sorry.
In
yes,
Eugene, yeah.
Yes,
that shouldn't happen, coach.
Well, if you can recall, all that transpired, but remember now that it shouldn't have happened.
Coach, we sweep the podium.
But again,
the podium, coach. We swept the podium.
Well, listen, we have had it has happened already,
Yes.
Where we have 2 or 3 of the fastest females, and because we have not been able to get that done.
2016.
The practice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we need to fix that as a nation, right? Because we're not going to always have the legacy of the experience of Bolt and all these athletes running together for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
We have more youngsters coming through the ranks now.
Yeah.
And so the synergy has to be there.
Yep. Yep. Before we go, just have 2 more questions. Then I'm going to pick your brain a little bit with a quiz. As it relates to preparation and recovery and all of that, especially managing, injuries and illnesses and all of those things. How is that going? All our athletes, they look healthy. I don't hear of anything major. Everybody seem fine.
Knock on wood.
Yes.
I haven't heard of anything major.
Yeah.
I think the coaches and the management have come up with an excellent formula to keep the athletes healthy. The truth be told, medical for these athletes is ridiculous. Whether the athletes are paying or whether it is the manager or the agent, it is extremely expensive. But I think we, as coaches, have found a way to try and nullify some of the issues that we would have had over the years. Some of the athletes have been working hard. And if you work hard, you need some care. So I know that they will turn into the care shop, in the next couple of days. But knock on wood, I think they have managed the process well, and I'm extremely proud. And I want to salute the coaches and the managers. Yes. And I have to big up one of my manager, QVC Robin, because he's there with us every step of the way.
Awesome.
We could not exist without the support through him and Adidas. We could not exist. And so I have to give kudos to him. And
I want one of those shirts.
Oh, I'll tell him. I do buy some of the shirts though. I don't only take free stuff.
Oh, you do?
I will go online and see something I like. I'm a buy it.
I love it. I like it. But I'm happy to hear that, the team, the athletes seem to be doing well and everybody getting it. As it relates to nutrition, food, and we're used to food a certain way. You're going to Asia. Is there any special preparations to feed the team, like curry chicken and...
Heather, let me tell you. I wish my athletes were in Europe or Asia now, because when they come back from Europe, you can throw water in their collarbones.
Oh, wow, they don't eat.
They're slim, especially females. And as they do 2 days out here, the rice and chicken and curry goat and dumpling and yam and banana. And the weight is the biggest problem.
Yeah.
So I've always said to persons, I don't have a problem with special diet, but if you don't have the funding, you eat what you have. And if it's funny, because when the athletes are emerging and they shock you with their excellent performances, they look slimmer than when they have contracts. When they have contracts, they start to look big.
Eating
and they run
more.
slow.
They're
So in my mind, when the athletes, and I'm not going to say when they are hungry, but when they're not eating as much
Much.
and they have the hunger, they run faster. That is just me. So nobody know what to beat me up. But yeah, I think that Asia will help us
Yeah.
because their diet. The quantities are small,
Small, yeah.
and some of our athletes are good eaters. That's well,
But
they
like
eat well.
our throwers that eat a lot, like
Okay,
Frederick Dakers was on last week and he said
okay,
he eats a lot.
no, I am not going to call Lakers there. It's my brethren, but boy, listen, and so, but he needs a mass, so we
Yes,
can
yes.
understand.
Yeah.
But when you have some of the females, I have a couple of them I coach, they cannot deal with the weight. So hopefully, I wish they were in Japan already, where they eat out of these little bowls and they give them the drink that don't have a lot of sugar,
So they start slimming down early.
and they will fly if we're able to get that done. So
I love.
when we went to the Olympics, maybe 2 or 3 times, we had special chef, and he did an excellent job because he
Awesome.
was a nutritionist. So the quantity also was okay. But separate and apart from that, if they are allowed to indulge, then we have a problem.
Have a problem. Wow. Coach Wilson, you being here tonight, I can tell you that it has shed a light on a lot of things. And I must say that I'm a little surprised that you're this down to earth
Listen,
and relax. I'm going to be honest with you. You're just so down to earth and you're so relaxed and I want to thank you for sharing. You're sharing, you're educating us. So now when we're having discussion, we can know that look, this is the rule, they're going by the rule, and it is just refreshing. Refreshing.
everybody see me as this stuck up guy. Maybe because I was in cadets, I have this kind of stern look. But I hope it remains the same because once they get to know me, it's all over. They find out that I'm a comedian, I give trouble.
Like for
And,
me now, I'm your new best friend.
so I want it to remain that way. When they look at me as this stern, stuck up nerd, whatever they want to call it. But I mean, you have to be on the track. And
Yes.
you laugh all day. Yeah, I'm a cool youth.
I like that. I like that. With 2 weeks to go into Japan, into Tokyo, how do you want us fans to help you? How can the Jamaican fans help Team Jamaica? We want to help. How can we
Well,
help to support
right.
the
So
team?
so I think the energy, because we have used it to motivate the athletes
Yeah.
because of the sort of support. So even though sometimes the energy may come across as being negative, I personally use it as a motivation. And we use it to we listen, if you think that the contingent and the government going to meet you at the airport and da 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 da, we use that as a motivating factor.
Yeah.
So we mix the negative with the positive. What I do not like are the assertions and the assumptions for comedic value.
Yeah.
If you are doing a analysis or a summary of performances and so on, some of the adjectives are not necessary. You're not an English teacher, right? You're not teaching the public. Some of those adjectives are too colorful. The athletes are human beings,
True.
and when you use certain adjectives, you have to undo that psychological effect on the people. So criticize them, man. You could have run a better leg. Oh, you do this. But it must be constructive. It cannot
Yes.
be personal. And,
Yeah.
and and therein lies the problem. So nobody's saying that you are someone who you are showcasing your skills and it's a marketing. So people have the right to. We understand that. We understand that. But do not make the attacks be personal. Do not. How are you going to tell somebody, oh, you're 33, so you have to pack up? It's their job. You're how much? You are 64. You pack
Yeah,
up?
I don't like that. I don't like that.
No.
I don't
What
like
I'm saying
that.
is that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, you are 64. Are you telling somebody to pack up? And
Yeah.
the person
Yeah.
is doing their job. So
Yes.
you have to be careful with some of these adjectives
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
that they use in trying to get the views and whatever.
Yes. Yes.
You have to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
So separate and apart from that, most of our Jamaicans, mean the team and the athletes, well. I would say
Indeed.
all of them. All of them.
Indeed.
It's just that
Yeah.
they express themselves in different
In
ways.
different ways, yes. Especially when we don't get what we
What
want. But
what what you think
yeah,
you should get.
yeah.
But
But
I think they have recognized that the world has caught up
caught up.
sometimes because of our kindness too. Because we go and do courses with some countries all over the world. We are in the Maldives, we are over India, we are over here. And it is a global information world
Yeah.
now that we're in. So it's a part of the game.
Yes. Coach's desk is saying, and I like this one. He's saying that the J3A should face the media a little bit more to dispel some of the misconception. And I agree because I think they need to talk out a little bit more to put things in perspective because sometimes fans speak with their feelings. They speak without facts. And I think sometimes the J3 should come out and said, look, we are aware that this is how you feel about this, but this is what happened. And just talk to us a little bit so to avoid the conflicts, the confusion, the misinformation. Because coach, I'm going to tell you, I don't like the if somebody come to me with something, the first thing I ask them, how did you know that? How do you
Right.
know it's true? How do you know it's credible? But
All right.
not all of us will do that.
So I agree with Coach Bindi, but what I will say is I just want to remind you, Heather, that while I may have contact and reach with the J3s,
Yeah.
I am not a member of the decision making body.
Yes, I
So
know.
but the president listens, and I think that he tries.
Good.
I have a little stiff with him still, but separate and
Good.
apart from that, I will tell him that
Yes.
overwhelmingly that is the proposal that we get a media liaison, and I think he will
Yes.
act on it.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. I love that. I love that. So, coach, before you go, there's some young coaches on the been in the conversation all night with us over
Oh,
two
yeah, that's
hours.
good.
What kind of advice, what kind of words can you give them? I mean, your legacy, when you look at your legacy, 10 championship,
Heather,
collegiate, pro,
sorry, Heather. As a coach is just talking about some rice and ketchup
rice
story.
and ketchup.
I wonder if that is for another time.
No, you can address it, coach. You can address it. I can stay here all night.
I'm not sure what he's talking about, but I know one particular coach who went, I think it was to China, and he went for a month. And having experienced a particular situation, he ate white rice and ketchup for the entire month. So, when he came back to Jamaica, he had to go to see a doctor because, of course, he needed laxative. So I don't know which coach is that, but I know the coach.
So he didn't want to eat the meat, but I don't wrong it. I wouldn't eat the meat.
It was for 30 days.
Wow.
Rice and ketchup every single day.
I don't wrong him. I wouldn't want the meat either. I don't know.
I think that's a story. I know the coach too,
Don't call his name. Leave him.
No, I'll not call his name. I don't want to embarrass him.
I just love my Jamaican people because I remember Beijing when Bolt was there. I heard that Bolt was eating just chicken nuggets and they had to ask that they remove certain food from the menus because the Jamaica. I think we ultimately got our own chef and thing and all of that, but yeah, going to that part of the world can be a little challenging for Jamaicans who won't be able to get their curry chicken and dumpling and brown stew chicken and banana and yellow yam. But the people on the live, they're saying, beginning of Unseen Sports TV is there. Arlene Green is saying, Coach Wilson, thanks for educating. Yeah, man. I know that them beat you, I know that
them say, all right, look here, coach, I'll just throw some alcohol on the beat them when you get. I mean, no, so if we give them a couple of victory, things will change. But
yes, things will change.
Yeah, it's a part of the game. It's a part of the landscape.
Yes,
I don't personalize it.
And I like how And
Hello.
I like how you're responding to things, coach. You know that they beat you and you're responding. Let me tell you, my outlook on you after tonight changed. I can tell you that on camera.
Edda,
Yeah.
I was in Luxembourg, right? And I saw this black guy. And I said, "What black man doing up here, man?" Anyway, the man was looking at me fiercely, and then after a race, he made a comment. So I realized he was a Jamaican, and him said, "Are you a Coach Wilson?" I said, "Yes, man." And the man said, "You sure?" I said, "Then, well, it seemed like you recognize me." Him said, "Boss, me not like you." I'm started laughing. So what me the boss? And him start to tell me all the stories. And we had a good conversation. The other day, one of my athletes went to Luxembourg, and he was the one who took care of him. So
Wow.
the back stories,
Yes.
I go to a hotel, and they start with that conversation, and then everything changed, the narrative changed, because
Yes.
you're telling them the truth, and they
Yes.
learn the truth. But it would be remiss of me not to big up my family, because I have two sons. One is a computational mathematician, right? And the other one,
Brains.
eh, well, I wouldn't say brains, because sometimes,
Brains, man. You're
but
too
no,
humble.
I use that term to say that when it comes to the sport, the stats, the data, and they support me a lot. And the other one, he just knows the sport and very knowledgeable. So they are online all the time, and they get so upset, and I have to calm them down. But of late, they are maturing so much. So I mean, it goes with the territory. Um, you have one and two haters for whatever reason, because you have to understand too. So for someone like myself who coach girls and think, if you, because I have a daughter, the love of my life, I've always tried to protect the females I coach. I take them very serious when it comes to those things. And you may have some overzealous young men, and them get and me would give them a card and say, look here, give her a break. Me not a watching man. Me not a watching man, but they don't have a dad, and they may not have a boyfriend or uncle. And so there's a coach, so and so and so. And these guys become haters online. The hating, I don't understand it, because most of what they're saying makes no sense.
Yeah.
But separate and apart from that, I have no issue with the criticisms, right? And sometimes the criticisms wake me up too.
Yeah.
And I say, all right. So with this relay team, that we're able to get training, it took a lot, because when a coach, a professional coach, releases his athlete for a week to do training outside his purview, it is not an easy thing. And I'm telling you that the top coaches have been very facilitating, have a very good relationship with them.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the only reason why they keep me, they ask me to volunteer my services in this position. But as I responded to coaches' decks, and I said, I made it very clear, the only way you're going to avoid the conflict, you either have to stop coach or leave the post. There's no other way.
Yeah.
There's no other way. Because it doesn't matter what you do, you're always going to be in the crosshairs.
And this is why I like to invite people to my platform, because sometimes, do you think you're misunderstood?
Well, I do not speak a lot,
I
unless
know.
unless I have not done an interview for maybe a year.
So I should
Oh,
consider
maybe.
myself lucky tonight, right?
No, I wouldn't say lucky.
Or special, or special.
Right. So, the gentleman that takes care of the technological setup of the website for Spring Tech
Yes.
and so on, and he's a genius, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, you must do this interview. I said, boss, I can't bother. I don't. And he said, no, Willow, you must. So I said, okay, this is a new person. She's she's not she's not she's not one of the mainstream persons in Jamaican media. I have a good relationship with most of them, but again, I think you have to recognize the difference between sound bites, factual stories, personal attacks. You need to separate that because
Yes.
nobody likes to be disrespected,
Yes,
right?
I agree. Yeah.
Nobody at all. And
Hmm.
I could not be doing a number of things that I'm doing if I was a little what you call fickle person, because I've had to face numerous situations in the post that I'm in, whether it be people are who you'd claim that are on the other side of the fence in terms of how they operate socially, people at the higher echelons of society. So I'm not thin skinned, but I'm a human being.
Yes. Yeah.
And but most importantly, I'm a man and I'm a father and also a husband. So, you have to keep the conversations real.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And I have to thank Michael for this, and I'm really happy that you took the time out to come and talk. And to be honest with me, to be honest with you, for somebody who doesn't talk, we're having a great conversation. We're having a great time, you know? And as I said before, I'm blown away because I've seen you and you look so business-like, so serious. And to see
Oh,
us here tonight just vibing, it is really refreshing that you cannot just see people and judge them based on what you're seeing. And I like to get to know people outside of what they do. And you tonight, you has brought a different perspective on things, and I really, really and truly appreciate that. So big up Michael for that, for Coach being here. I know that. What time is your flight? I know you'll be traveling soon.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock in the morning.
6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow, so it's soon time to send you to your bed. But we're going to do a little quiz before you go. I'm going to pick your brain a little bit. So, guys,
I don't do well in none of those things. My family members say I'm one track minded,
yeah,
track and field. And if you were to look on my desk, I have all these papers and I'm still in the paper era and I spend all my time with these kind of information. But when it comes to spontaneous, from I stopped doing school challenge, I'm not so good. So I know I'm going to fail, but it's
no,
okay.
you're not going to
I
fail.
failed.
No, 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 no failing around here. My first question to you is
Yeah.
if your legacy was to be captured in a book, what would you want the title of your book to be? If your legacy, Maurice Wilson legacy, were to be captured in a book, what would that title be?
Oh, you said I could be misunderstood. Maybe the real me,
Yeah, that's
something
a
like
good
that.
title. That's a good
The
title.
real me,
Yeah. I
because most times, just by perception and sight, I
yes.
am totally put in a particular um, um,
Yes.
area.
Yeah. I've seen
And
that.
once the communication is of such that the energies collide,
Yeah.
what you think is not what it is.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. And I've learned, I'm learning here, and I'm learning. And as I said before, it is so good to get to know you a little bit. I've been seeing you for years.
For
And I mean,
years,
I saw you at Champs, and I was like, should I approach this man and introduce myself? And I said, no, but
well, I have to practice to smile more. I'm not going to put on no makeup on them something like that, but I
no,
practice to smile more
you're
and
good.
give a
Nothing happens before. Nothing
before the
happens
time, right?
before the time. Indeed, indeed. Okay, let me see what coaches unseen is saying. When he was at GC Foster, you were the vice principal. Of course, you are the principal now. So a lot of your people turn out tonight. Spring Tech Track Club is saying we'll have to income to take care of themselves. Of course, we already do this on national campaign. You're setting up some big things, man, coach, which we will have to.
Well, as I say, I have a strong team, and
Yes, that's good.
we have, and they are the new generation, the Jermaine Hamiltons, the Sean Samuels. They are the new generation, Daniel Smith, and as a Coach Des is saying, I did it him, but patience is a virtue,
Yes,
I had big plans for Coach Minzy and Coach Goldburn, but that's how life is. It takes a different turn. But
yes,
Sometimes I get a knock on my head from my family and from my friends that sometimes the persons who I think are of the greatest value, I am overly cautious when I decide to make a move with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I have done it based off experience. And that is why I can safely say when I coach an athlete and they make the national team, I don't care what they think. And some have left because of that. You fight your own battles if you're not in the top three.
Yes.
Coach,
Yeah.
you fight for me. Coach, just no.
Yeah.
Top three.
But they need to understand is it that they don't understand your
No, they
position?
don't. They don't, because the typical coach is not like that. And I'm not going to say this attitude or this philosophy, I got it. I developed it.
Yeah.
I learned it from someone. And it makes your life easier.
Yes. Yeah.
It makes your life easier.
Yep. Marlon Walker, good night. He's saying, good night. Change is going to come. Wow. Interesting. Nice, nice, nice. Nice. Coach, going back to you now. Name Jamaica's first Olympic gold medalist. Jamaica first female Olympic medalist, gold medalist. First.
Jamaica's Deanna Hemmings.
Deanne Hemmings is correct. 1996.
And
Atlanta.
I'm telling you that my brain is not firing, but I will try.
No.
I might be son enough. Because if you trouble me, I call my son. Because he has no things at his fingertips.
Who is the first Jamaican woman to win an Olympic medal?
The first
Jamaican woman to win an Olympic medal. I call her the queen.
It can't be Merlin. You want to tell me something?
It is Merlin.
No. This is how I'm templating this sentence. You want to take me? It's a long take. So we get
yes. 1980. Coach.
Yeah, man. Remember Moscow.
Yes, Moscow it was. Coach, the men won 12 medals, Olympic medals, before the Jamaican women won one.
Did DQ win a medal, or they had boycotted DQ? I think Donald Corey, did he? Or 84. Donald Corey won a medal.
Yes, he won a bronze.
Really? Right.
Yes. Right. Yeah, he did. All right, next question now. Which male Olympian ran the 100 meters and the 400 meters at the same Olympic game? Which male ran the 100 meters and the 400 meters at the same Olympic game? I don't even...
It was 48 or 52?
52 it was.
Mm-hmm. So is that one, the great? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you do that? You run the 100 and the 400?
No, man. And it speaks to our range of greatness, you know. It speaks to our range of greatness. That is why I know, I'm not saying we can't have incidences, but our performances are not stimulated. I don't think so. We have, similarly to how Eskimos adapt in Alaska, we adapt in sports, especially track and field. We adapt in sports.
Indeed. Who won the first World Championship 400 meter for men?
You're still on the man that I'm going to travel with tomorrow. Yeah.
The great Bertrand
Cameron.
Yes, man. 1983 was.
Yeah, Paris. Wow. Was it? No, Helsinki.
Helsinki.
I still find a little bit, man.
You see your brain.
The next question.
Coach, I tell you, you're too humble, you're just too humble. Anyway, our next question is, Jackie Pusey and Lilith Hodges are 70s and 80s Olympians. True or false?
70s, Jackie Pusey out of St. Mary High School.
Wow.
70s and
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Lilith Hodges.
Marlene Newfield, 400. Was she?
Wow. Yep.
And I'm not a 70s man, I joke. But it would have meant that I would have been involved reading. And I told you about the book I got in 76.
Yeah.
And 76 had Marlene Newfield, Hodges, all of those persons.
All
Yeah.
those people. Yep.
Lennox Billy
Donald
Miller,
Quarren.
Herb McKinley, Arthur
Yep.
Wynn, all of those guys. La Beach, all of those guys.
Yep.
I still remember.
All right,
My memory is not so
your
great.
memory is firing, man. Here's my next question.
Only sometime. Yeah, go ahead.
Vilma Charlton and Donald Quarry are both members of the 1972 Olympic Games.
Yeah, 72. Yeah.
Yes, that's
so
correct.
yeah. Billy Miller was 68.
Yep, 72.
And 72.
This
and
team
then went on to 76.
Yeah, this team had people like Debbie Byfield, Miss Una Morris.
Una Morris.
Yeah, all of those.
Excellent sprinter.
Yes.
Young girl coming out of high school.
Yep.
Fantastic. And I think Una Morris is now a doctor too.
Yeah, she is. She is. And you would have known the name Debbie Byfield also, who was
Debbie Byfield,
formerly of Excelsior. But coach, you know the history, man.
No, I don't, because remember I'm a countryman. I'm a proud countryman. So I'm not going to behave as like some of these guys who went to college or our school in Kingston and behave like they're Kingstonians. I'm a country boy. But
you know the history though.
Yeah, we did a lot of reading that time.
Yeah, that's how I know it myself. My next question is Anisha McLaughlin, Bobby Gay Wilkins, Rosemary White, Genevieve Russell are all Olympians formerly of which school?
It should be the school on the hill.
The school on the hill.
That school on the hill.
In Manchester, right? That's school.
I'm happy you didn't ask the question that I have run away from many times.
Which question is that?
I'm trying to remember. I tell you my memory.
Tell me which question it is.
The next time I remember.
Okay, all right, no problem. All right, my next set of questions now is I'm going to throw two things at you and you pick one. Manchester United or Arsenal?
Look here, for God's sake. We need to speak about a club. That there's only one club. And that club wears blue.
Manchester United.
Real blue.
Which blue?
Right,
Chelsea. Chelsea is a real blue.
Right.
We have that in common. Chelsea.
So
we move past this question. We won't even go any further right there.
No, maybe you're thinking that I don't know anything about football too.
No, funny.
People look at me as a track man.
Funny, I was thinking that you would maybe more be a Liverpool man.
Oh, from the 80s.
Right, because of
John
Barnes days. Because a lot of Jamaicans who became Liverpool fans back then is really because of John. But you know your sport, man.
A bit. Not
Coach,
a lot.
Coach, stop it, man. Next one. Watching track and field on TV or in the stadium?
I don't get to see anything in the stadium, Heather. That's another story I need to share. Do you know that I watch less than 10% of the races? So I have someone stationed in the stadium because I cannot be in the stadium because I have to see all the athletes go to the car room.
Wow.
And so we don't see races. Occasionally, I'll steal a glance on Stephen because I have all the technology in the world. But in watching Stephen screen, right, I'm missing the car room. So you have to be careful, because you can't call a big old coach, man, who is a top coach, and say, Coach, go look and see if it's athletes. You can't do it. Some coaches who are responsible for the specific discipline, they make sure that the athletes go in the car room. But because I'm in charge, it is my responsibility that even if they have the world's greatest coach, I have to make sure that they are in the car room, because there are times when the coaches get carried away in their warm-up and you have to say, boss, it's time. And they look at you like, what?
So how do you know what to correct?
To analyze?
Yeah.
All right. So we have a stationary person in the stadium, someone who is very knowledgeable about sport, that if there's any infringement and so we jump on it right away. Okay. And then we have feedback. Occasionally, we're able to see a big screen depending on where the meet is. But most time, so occasionally, I can remember going in there for like the 100-meter for Bolt and like for a couple of 4x1s. But sometimes by the time you reach the race finish,
Race
And then
finish.
you have to negotiate your way back to the navigate, sorry, your way back to the track. So the back and forth is just too much. So most times we don't see the races, the coaches
Wow,
that is.
wow. Next question. False start or not make the final?
Not made the final.
Relay or individual race?
Straight individual.
Champs or the Olympics?
Well, if you have a competition, no, honestly, I mean, I have to be careful, you know.
This one
What am
is
I?
so hard, coach.
Yeah, what am I? What am I suggesting? I mean, the fire that is in my belly when I go to champs on Saturday, I don't know if
Yes,
I feel that anywhere else, you know.
true, true.
So unfortunately, I have to say champs because
Massage.
I don't want it to appear as if champs is the ultimate need.
Yes,
But
yeah,
for Willow, that fire is champs.
yeah, yeah. That's Saturday, especially on the Saturday when everybody roll out the fashion, the friendships, the
Mm-hmm.
food, the drinks, the chattering, the everything. It's just a real deal. Massage or ice bath for your athletes.
I believe in ice bath.
Okay. 400
Mhm.
meter hurdles or sprint hurdles.
Straight 400 hurdles.
Yep, yep. Gold medal or world record.
Gold medal stands the test of time.
Indeed, indeed. Records change hands, but the medal
Mhm.
stays forever.
Of course.
Totally agree. And with that said, Coach Wilson, thank you very much for
Thank you
stopping
too.
by. Thank you for being here, for providing some clarity and stuff that we were a little ignorant
I'm sure, and there are
about.
gaps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
But as I say, as real soldiers of the sport, and also recognizing that young persons will go through phases in their lives, and even though you may not have that contact, you have to give them the opportunity to express themselves once it is done in a respectful manner.
Yes.
Because similarly to how persons have emotion when they are on the negative side, it is similar on the positive side. And so when you speak, the spoken word cannot be taken back. So you have to be very, very careful. And it is just a joy to work with these athletes, uh, just to see the progress, to see
Mm-hmm.
them drive a nice, bigger, better car than you, live
Yes.
better than you.
Doing
And
well.
you say, my athlete that, and they're
Yeah.
just doing so well, they're able to take care of their families. It's just a joy. I might not say it, I might not show it, but that is how I feel. And that is why I
Mm-hmm.
continue doing it.
Wow. Wow. I like that it and this is why we have to support, and someone said earlier in a comment that one of the ways that we can support our athletes is when they're competing at home, we should go out and support them, go out and watch them compete, go out and support, cheer them on, just be there, for them. And my thing that I always say, try not to be too critical of them, because they're navigating life the same way we are navigating life.
Yeah, I think we have one of the best support group in the world, track and field fans, in terms
Yeah,
of our track and field fans. I look at sometimes they get overboard, but it's
yeah,
the enthusiasm. But
yeah.
I think you'd have captured it well. I can't believe a man that I respect. Um, um, England is talking about gunners. We have to have a conversation. But with that being said,
No, I'm going to delete him right now. I'm going to
yeah,
delete him
yeah.
right
I mean,
now.
I respect this guy, and he's that, but it's okay. Um, I saw somebody put up United, but it's
And
okay.
I saw somebody put up United. Let us ignore
Yeah. All
them.
right. Let me stay
Yeah.
focused.
Blue
Let me
over here, true blue over here.
true,
Yep.
true blue. One
Yep,
true
yep.
blue.
Yes, yes, yes. But coach, it was a pleasure having you, and safe travel tomorrow or later on. Well, yes, tomorrow, as you take up national duty for Jamaica once more, all the blessings and all the love and everything to you, the Jamaican team, the federation, everybody. Just go out there as one country and just win, lose, or draw. We are here. We are here. We know what the competition is. People like me, we've seen it. We've seen it. We've seen it. And we know it's not normal. When you look at where the women's 400-meter is, it is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
When you look at where the women's 400 is, the women's 400-meter hurdles, when you look at the 100 meters now, if you're not running 10.7, if you're not running 10.8 low, 10.7, it
Problems.
the
But
women's sprint hurdles, if you're not running 12.2 now, it's
it was what's her name again? From Nigeria. She was the one who just threw everything.
Toby.
Is Toby threw everything out
Yes.
of what?
Yes, man.
When she won that
2022, she
that,
did
that
that.
world record, you know. And then
Mm-hmm.
once she did it, everybody said, "What? I
Yep.
can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
I used to beat you. I can do it."
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the sport evolves, you know.
Yes.
It's I love the sport so much. It's fantastic,
Yes.
you know. And
That
I love the
makes,
spectators. I love the critics same way,
yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
it's just an enjoyable sport to be in. And those who give to the sport, I respect them a lot. And I want to just send some love to Michael Clark. You know,
Yes.
um,
Yes. Indeed.
he has been my roommate for many years, and he's one of the greatest that has ever
Mm-hmm.
done it. You know,
Yes.
and all those supportive QBC Globin, Adrian Laidlaw, all the coaches, my team at GC Foster College, my Homewood team, um, Minzy online, the evolution of Minzy has been so great. Coach Minzy,
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. All the GC, the custodians, hold for respect and love.
Yes, man. And Sprint Tech was very much here too, and
I
everybody.
saw them online. They
Oh,
need to
yes,
give
man.
some performance. That's what I want
Yes.
from them.
They
Yeah?
have training tomorrow. Zandran
No,
was
not
here.
tomorrow. They trained this morning.
Okay, okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Awesome, awesome. They were all here for support and everything. But, coach, before you go, I'm going to throw it is now your turn to ask me a question. Normally, I give my guest an opportunity to ask me a question. So, I'm now in your chair. You are in my chair before we go. And please remember that I want one of those shirts to wear on my next show.
Yes, I'm going to speak to my contact,
Love
or I
that.
speak to Mr. Sigrobi.
Yes.
Uh, so I normally use persons, and I don't judge. I see Daniel have Rabalak on the thing. So I'm not going to say that because you go to Calabar, you're a runner. But which school you attended? High school.
I did not go to a traditional
It
high
doesn't matter.
school. And, I always say that because I did track as a little girl and I wanted to go to a track and field school. Got an opportunity, but of course, a girl, I grew up with my father. So he wasn't going to have it. He shut that down immediately. No
From
boarding
early.
school. So, but I went to Pembroke Hall, right in the heart of Kingston.
Okay. I asked a question because the fact that you're so knowledgeable about the sport, I was trying to segue to see if you ran at school. So that's why I asked that question.
Not at the high school level. Never
But
ran a chance.
your knowledge is immense, though. Obviously, you're a student of the sport, so that is
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
And I'm not going to discriminate, but few ladies know the sport that well. Persons
True.
like Carol Beckford, my very good friend.
Yes. Big up
She's
to Miss
extremely
Carol
knowledgeable.
Beckford. Carol Beckford is actually one of my idols. I admire
Oh,
that
really?
lady. Yes, yes.
She's
She
so
is. She is.
smart. She has always been
Yes.
smart
Yeah.
from school.
Yes.
She's too brilliant. That's a problem with her.
She is.
She's
She
just
is.
too
And
smart.
yeah, and she loved the sport also, and she's
No,
very good
and
at
you know what?
marketing.
Yes, and
Yes.
she played every single sport. Volleyball, football, she
What?
was good at all the sports. Yes.
I'm
And
inspired by her.
I don't know for her being a runner though, but athlete.
Yeah.
But yeah, she played every
She's one
single.
of those people that I look up to in communications and PR and all of those things. I follow her stuff and she is remarkable. So I am inspired by her.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah, yeah. But coach, thank you very much for being here. I
You're
know
so
maybe
welcome.
you know that you maybe have last minute packing to do. You have to pack your maybe tin food and some ackee and saltfish and
No,
some
it's just
Jamaican bread.
no, just bulla cake and rat cake. Bulla
Here there.
cake, rat cake. Yeah, that's it.
No hard bread, you know, carrying a Jamaican bread.
No, bulla cake and rat cake because I'm lactose, so I can't eat the things in the airport like the muffin and those things.
And
So you
those
just carry,
things.
yes, the original Jamaica bowl of cake with one cup of coffee without sugar, and you're good to go. That
Woo!
keep
And
you
you're
for the
good to
day.
go.
Yeah. I don't know what
Amazing.
my experience is going to be like with the food in Japan, but it's better than other places, I think.
Yes, I
So,
think so.
yeah, I don't think, well, I was going to say I don't think rice and ketchup will be the menu, but then I would be speaking to the coach. So,
Coach, you're a coach, you're a
the
troublemaker.
man put
You
rice and ketchup.
coach is desk. Please to go to your bed. Please to go to your bed.
I'm
But
out. I'm out. Thank you so much, Heather. And it was good that I could just share with the general public. Our
indeed,
track and field fans have been dedicated to the sport and they need to know what is going on. And
thank
I'll
you.
pass on the information. And Coach's desk, he has been, well, Coach Mincy, he has been very persistent in terms of making sure we bring up the point about a media liaison. So I'll pass the information
Yes,
as well.
yes.
And I
Totally
know you'll be
agree.
very
Thank you
well.
very much
So
for
thank you so much, and thanks to those who were online. Just
thank you.
listen to me sharing my story.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Not a
sir.
problem.
Your legacy is up. We salute you
I
and
don't
your
know.
legacy.
Oh Lord, we all have a legacy.
Oh yes, we do. We
We
do.
all.
We do. We do.
So
Travel
thanks so
safe
much again.
and we will be in touch, okay?
Okay then. Bye.
Have a good night.
Same to you. Thank
Thanks.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Guys, what a discussion that was. What a discussion that was. Coach Wilson, Coach Maurice Wilson really shed some light on a lot of things that we have been not so knowledgeable about the rules, the selection process, who does what, how things are done, and he also cleared the air with what happened in Budapest. And as I always say, guys, we have to be less critical of our athletes, the people who are behind the scene, because sometimes, to be honest, we really don't know what is happening. And sometimes a decision can be influenced by something else. But I'm hoping that they will definitely have a communication liaison person that can talk to us, tell us something, update us. So I want to thank you all for being here. Of course, I should be back here Sunday night with Coach's Desk, Coach Minzy, where we're going to kick off our Road to Tokyo discussion. And of course, we're going to be starting with the field event. So come out Sunday night to just hang out with us, talk about the field events, our prospects, how things look for us, how the events look, and just support the team as they go off to bring us more glory in 2025. um Daniel is saying ribbies tonight. Daniel, thank you for being here. My good friend Daniel England is always a big supporter. Coach's Desk, thank you for being here. All the athletes, everyone who turned out. Zandrian Barnes was here. GC Foster for being here. Thank you. Sprint Tech for also being here. Michael, Sherwin, Nemard was here. Thank you very much. Coach Will, Reimar's Track Club. I can't call all the names, guys, but thank you very much for being here. Lilith Hodges, Olympian Lilith Hodges was here. Marlene Green was here also. Thank you for everyone. Sasha Lee Forbes was here, giving herself trouble driving from lane 1 to lane 8 to do her push-ups. Thank you guys very, very much. And I look forward to having more chats like these. It is all about legacy chat on HP Chat Track. Of course, it's all about Jamaica track and field legacy. Thank you very much, Sprint Tech. Thank you. You are welcome. So, guys, see you Sunday night. And Sprint Tech is saying, please share this interview. Please share, guys, because it is very informative and it will also clear up some miscommunication and misunderstanding and misconcept, all of those things that some of us have had with different things. So thank you very much for being here. And I will catch you guys Sunday night. Sunday night, we will be back here. Okay, thank you guys so much. You're still here. I don't want to leave you guys. But thank you very much for being here. And all the Chelsea fans, big up all the True Blue Chelsea fans. Coaches Des, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Coaches Des, for sharing it on your page. Indeed, indeed. Guys, have a good night. Have a great weekend. But remember, we will be back here. Guess when? Sunday night as we kick things off. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Have a good night and see you soon. I'm HP checking out. Have a good one.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track